even far cheaper.
No! We insist you give us pro code from Kojak. I don't understand why people give this fake pro code, and why they don't give the fake one, then they give you a similar one with a different name and tell you it works the same. But it is not so. If it's not pro code from Kojak, then we won't accept it.
So this is the original pro code. It has the logo and Kojak boldly written on it.
Yes, for quick and effective relief from headache, flu, nasal congestion and other feverish conditions, insist on pro code from Kojak.
Pro code, K-O-J-A-C-H. Pro code.
This advert is FDA approved.
New season, new look. The Ramadan mega sale has officially arrived. Make your home guest ready with Danube Home Ghana. Enjoy a massive 50% discount on furniture, decor, and so much more this Ramadan. Whether you're looking to refresh your bedroom or upgrade your outdoor space, now is the time to shop. Stunning designs, premium quality, and half the price. Visit our showroom Danube Home Ghana, Elusigan Obasanjo Way, Jolu, opposite Allied Heights. Call us, *050 940 3664 *. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook, *Danube Home. Danube Home, everything home. Ramadan Kareem. O Allah, grant us to reach Ramadan and forgive our sins.
Ready for school?
Yes!
My champs, they use a lot of energy at school. I know because imagine the energy they may have used up to return home this transformed every day.
Your champs need nourishment and energy. Give them the Milo Energy at breakfast, now with vitamin D that supports energy release to help their daily performance. Milo, energy to go further. This advert is FDA approved.
Tasty Tom tomato mix. Ofa kakra. Na ye bebre. Fa kakra yan kwani stew dodwa ope.
Tasty Tom dear, it will surely give you value for money. Steak and little is enough to get our desired quantity of stew and soup, and it doesn't color your meat or chicken.
Tasty Tom tomato mix inti. Me handwriting and sisada. Senande dene dia sa neti. Into customers ba neba.
I don't compromise on the quality of my food. Use Tasty Tom enriched tomato mix. This advert is FDA approved.
Ghana fie biemu. Emunye duane kek eye busua eni je ni nkabo.
Me a Ghana ni mapa. Ame fa mejume ni agro kra. Me do sultana rice ye pa. Eyiyi mako mako. Edemu fua. Na ne denso die. Ube die di biem.
I want no sultana rice o jollof no ebe jollof fe. O fried rice ne die. Apebi ebe fried rice yankasa. Sultana rice. Eye kewa kraki.
Muna numbe safune mbeyifu. Kanfu sultana Vietnam rice mo biaro. Oye mubia. Nanu siya do. Oye kuko. Omezi bani biara ne do. On danso.
Ayama emafra. Empenifo. Abatampa. Eni obiara.
Sultana rice. Eye de papa. Sai de. Vietnamese maye nyina.
Anusio yede. Ube die fili.
Yawa sultana Thai ni Vietnamese.
FDA adi gradient nkratwe ya.
Introducing the new Comfort After Wash for clothes.
contains a unique formula that leaves clothes beautiful, scented, and looking as good as new.
Madam, Rachel.
Yede Gynecare syrup aba. Gynecare eboa eyi afichikro emu haw ahodo te se afichikro a emayi de etutusi basabasa ene afichikro mu yaw ahodo ni nyina efiri hokra. Gynecare boa ema atenka akofem no san peja ne mu yie pa. Gynecare boa yema menomu a wanya menopause. Eho haw ahodo te se ohonam a ehyehyew na eyira wo no abufuo atete ene de atete saa no nyina. Gynecare brena sekra edrei enkoda oni mfie edumienu entumi mfabi ubenya bi ewo pharmacy license chemical shop ana herbal shop a eben mu pendodo atua fre Ayona pharmacy. Gynecare ebeye wo de FDA ahwehwe adwade nkrato emu age atum se eye.
Introducing Betway's Bet Influencer, a groundbreaking feature where you can make money by just sharing codes.
He just needs to share his codes and make money. The more his codes are used,
the more money he makes.
Oh yes. So, what are you waiting for?
Anyone can be a bet influencer. Share your codes and make money.
Bet Influencer, another world first from Betway.
This advert has been approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more.
Today, I am the chosen one.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Let's go. Accra, are you ready? It's time for yet another Gobe Festival. On Saturday, March 28th, the Legon City Mall turns into the home of the food of the gods, Gobe Festival. Look, plenty food festivals there, but none be like Gobe Fest because Gobe no be just food. It's a movement, a cult following, real lovers from every walk of life, corporate workers, bosses, celebs, campus crew, everybody pulling up for one mission, proper Gobe. And it's not just one pot, it's the best Gobe vendors from the capital and beyond. 7 back-to-back hit, hot, loaded and unforgettable. But that's not all. There will be non-stop music, games, mad fun and one big explosion of joy. So gather your people, come hungry, come loud. Gobe Festival, Saturday, March 28th, Legon City Mall, 10 a.m. You don't just eat it, you experience it.
TV3 Talented Kids is back again.
Even bigger and better, we're unveiling a brand new lineup of contestants with exciting, diverse and mind-blowing abilities from across the country.
For the contestants, Talented Kids is more than a competition. This is a journey of self-discovery, building confidence, resilience, and a platform to grow from young, talented children into tomorrow's professional icons.
Dial *713 *13# or download the MG Reality app to vote for your favorite contestant.
Talented Kids, free to play.
Talented Kids Season 17 shows Sunday at 5 p.m. on TV3. Powered by Indomie. Tastes great.
Sponsored by Flora Tissues, Top Choco,
Gino Jollof Mix,
Didi Shito,
Fratelli Calipo,
Nero Prime Water,
Coco Plus, CTIW Foundation.
If you're looking to listen to thought-provoking conversations, to avoid any further brouhaha, all this English to just say, I will do nothing. I will ghost him. So like what is it? Be like,
Yeah, but I'm suddenly not feeling too well.
answers to life's big questions.
Has someone asked you to do kapoha before? I don't drink.
You go to church and pray for miracles. But that's somebody's money.
The
I
owner
like
is going to come.
For a show filled with excitement, laughter, and unforgettable moments.
Me, I live life full of drama to the left, to the right. If you see me, look this side,
To games that keep you laughing.
What in the name of Peppa Pig is going on here?
Just as tonight is the place to be, where the fun never stops.
Just as Tonight now shows on Saturdays at 8 p.m. on TV3.
Go away. You wanted to do some Azonto?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of things
Azonto is coming back anyway.
You say?
Azonto seems to be coming back.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of recall of old dance moves and all that. Yeah, it's a good thing, you know. Sometimes when it comes to pop culture, fashion, music, etc., you just do the
always
recycling.
A recycle.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
And so we'll see how it goes, especially now that we're in Ghana month and we have to go back into time or even in the recent past. We try to trace our history and try to do a lot of introspection. We'll get to see which of the rhythms and then the tunes get to stand the test of time. It's very important that we do that. And Obrafo is always the rap software, leading the way, charting the path alongside. Before then we had Grandpapa, Reggie Rockstone. We had others who had come.
And then is it TikTok?
We have TikTok. Then we have the one who is a pastor now. That's Lord Kenya.
Yes, Lord Kenya. Yes,
Lord Kenya. I always say Obrafo and Lord Kenya, top. Then we have TikTok and the rest of them.
Philomena Pitting.
Well, certainly. He also had a unique style. So I believe that for this period of Ghana Month, we're mixing in with contemporary fashion, all things, the topics by way of the discussions, etc. And I hope that people will get to love it as well. So you're still recalling history in Ghana Month, but also doing it the contemporary way. How are you? How have you been?
I'm very well.
I started reading the news that 2 Ghanaians had been injured as a result of a drone attack. And just this morning, I was just listening to, is it the Iranian Prime Minister, Foreign Minister also, or one of their spokespeople who were saying they needed to be compensated, because that's what the president had said of Iran the whole of yesterday, that they needed to be compensated for so-called unprovoked attacks because their leaders had been wiped off. And so if we don't come to a truce or a compromise, this bombardment as well as this so-called Gulf War, Middle East war is going to elongate for some time.
Then it means that we have problems on our hands.
No,
really.
As a country, we're going to have a problem. Well, we already do, because we have to be realistic. The next pricing window, because it started last week, this week will be off. Next week will be a next pricing window for petroleum products, and I would expect that petroleum products will go up. It's the margins or the percentages of the upward adjustment that many of us cannot foresee. But at the end of the day, even if we have 3 weeks of so-called fuel stock left for the country to consume, it also means that we have to take the timelines of shipment and then trying to go the shipment and then the routes and the destination.
So your fear is irrespective of the assurance coming from TOR yesterday?
Yes, because, you know, sometimes you need to hedge yourself. And the currency is also going to have or suffer a certain glitch. And so, because fuel is from a destination, there have to be shipment made. But before even the shipment, you have to do processes of supplies. And then you get the verifications done. You know, crude oil is not just a product like maybe an item you go into a manufacturing plant and you source and then you get to transport. You have to know that it's coming from the right source and whether even the shipment will come to our shores. Because there are a lot of negative or underground dealings when it comes to crude. And so once you have it in inshore, then you know that you have the product. Okay. And we know the amount that we tend to consume and import as well. And you'll find that for many of the times, we need to make sure that all those factors and indicators are taken into consideration for the ordinary consumer to be able to get access. And that's why I've loved this period, that even though the world has been facing difficulty, we've also been able to do a thorough explanation of the issues, the effects on ordinary consumers, but more so the businesses, and then the general economy as well, because it has a direct effect on forex, on inflation, on prices of goods and services related to inflation as well, and subsequently the general revenue that is targeted within our scheme of annual budget, etc., by the central government.
I mean, for me, I see that as leadership, because at the end of the day, when there are these problems, then you're finding out, I mean, you're projecting. If it goes this way, how do I go? If it goes that way, how do I go? But I'm just intrigued about the prices of petroleum products, though, because we know that it rose from 100 to 104 per barrel. And I think about 3 days ago, so I heard that it had tumbled again to like 89.
It's gone past 100 mark again just this morning.
So it's well, we look forward to seeing what will be done. And I know that not just Ghana, leaders across the world are also strategizing regarding how they can stay strong in the midst of this. But hopefully we're able to deal with this quickly, because in as much as Iran has a strong stance, US is also saying that, I mean, from the president, Donald Trump, US wants nothing than total surrender. And then Iran also has a mind of its own. So let's pray that there's a compromise.
So for Melbourne crude, it's just $100.7 dollars, but Brent crude, which usually it's the crude that we tend to also consume around here, we have $98.27 dollars.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it was Brent that went to 104, right?
Yeah. Yes, but it's gone down again. So we have to make the adjustments needed, but also I think that the communication line need to be opened constantly, like they've been doing. And then consumers also need to know, so that you also make adjustments as to your consumption rates, because that also affects
but can you do anything
the expenditure.
About it?
Well, it depends.
If you have to travel and you use, let's say, how many liters, you can't say that you're not going to that destination because we're having issues with challenges.
Well, certainly. Let's welcome you to the show. Sorry that we've been talking, and we know that we're going to also make sure that you are in a position to be able to understand us very well. And so, please, wherever you're watching us from, welcome to the show. I have some great people who keep watching us. We have Kwesi Mensah, who lives in Albany, New York. And yesterday, I got a message from Idun Kansa, who lives in Hamburg. When he called me, he was pronouncing it, he said Hamburg. Okay, so he lives in Hamburg, Germany. And it's good that you constantly tend to watch as Idun Mensah in Hamburg, Germany, and always giving us the information as to what we've been doing. And I didn't know that you watch us as well. Pai Fiang, who works with engineers and planners. You know, Ibrahim Mahama is their boss. Alhaji Nuruddin is the lead driver for Ibrahim Mahama. Chairman Prosper, good morning to Great Man. Chairman Godwin Tamaklo of the Rates Group, great man as well. Edmond Combat of the Tamara Refinery. And Chairman Godwin Tamaklo has the daughter, Emefa, who attends Legacy Girls College, celebrating the birthday today.
Okay.
Yeah, so happy birthday to you, Emefa
Legacy,
Tamaklo.
is it the same school that
the one on the Akusa Road, yes.
Okay, because we had some of their ladies come in studio during the holiday. So it's the same school.
10 years,
okay,
a decade,
that's lovely.
So happy birthday to you, Emefa Tamaklo, coming from your dad, your siblings. We have Della, we have Isaac as well, and then your mom Alice, and the rest of everybody else, including the family and family friends as well.
I have a birthday message, and it's the person. Yet they can only pick 5,000. And so the question is, where should the remaining numbers, 100,000, go to? How do we get to absorb them, because people need jobs to survive? And so we'll be looking at that.
It will be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Because government has come under a lot of flack, but particularly the sector minister, that's Alhaji Muntaka Mubarak.
Yeah.
And the question has always been, over the last 24 hours, why do you sell X number of forms when you know you're going to pick X number of people or a Y number of people? But I don't know whether there's any justification for that action they took. But at the end of the day, it also gives us a certain sense of how young people just don't have access to jobs. Because I remember when I was a teenager or a child or a young person, you would find that going to enlist in the security services was not as a matter of option. Or because you don't have anything else to do so, but because people genuinely wanted to be there.
Exactly, but
now people are making it an option because they have no substitutes or nothing else to do.
I mean, it's the same thing with teachers, it's the same thing with nursing. When I finished SS, there were some people who eventually said, okay, since I didn't, and I'm not saying all of them who are in it, so just putting the caveat on it, but there were some people who said, since I didn't make the mark for the business or the science I want to do, the pure ones, let me just go to this teaching training school or nursing, as if it was for the rejected. And so people who obviously, during my time, based on what I experienced, didn't have a choice because they didn't get what they wanted, eventually said, okay, I still need to work, so let me find something. Yes, so we'll look at that, and we'll also look at the Lands Ministry. Yesterday, the sector minister held a press conference indicating that the plan is to publish names of all those who purchased state lands within a particular period. and it's part of reforms to ensure that there's transparency in the system. And of course, there are some other reforms that the ministry has also penciled down or actually decided to implement to ensure that we're able to have a proper land administration in Ghana. So we'll be looking at these, yes. Yeah. But there's something interesting we're going to be looking at for the this morning segment. Right?
Yeah, and it's a phenomenon. The last week was about cement being used to preserve beans. All right. So beans. All right. And before then, that's a week before or 2 weeks before, we had apparently they used the polythene or to fry plantain and some other things like that.
You know, it's interesting because on Monday. I was actually having a conversation with an Uber driver. I don't know how, my question was, how do they get these ideas?
No, I think people just do the wrong kind of things. It's not like they get idea. Maybe they try something and they feel that, well, it makes the preservation better, but it's quite wrong.
I mean, putting formalin in your usual Kobe, that is salted tilapia.
Also something we've seen over the period.
In tuna, I mean, using carbide, I understand, to ripe fruits very quickly.
Fruits, yes.
Also, there was a point that they were putting colors in zomi.
They still do.
Or in oil, palm oil, just so it appears very reddish.
Yeah.
And I mean,
no. So we're just looking at, because the FDA with their latest statement is indicating, and I thought that was quite sad. Because you're supposed to have surveillance activities in the market.
There's actually a department called post-market surveillance. Okay. And I remember many years ago, there used to be a man in charge, Thomas Amejo. He's now retired. Okay. He used to be very, very active, as it were, going to market, soups here and there. Anyway.
So we want to introduce this as a topic and then do some discussions on it. We'll try and get some experts online and also help us with the discussions. And the FDA says they're going to investigate this using all these plastic bags or the polythene bags to fry, etc. And I saw somebody on TikTok who said, oh, we're nyahwe and all that. So what do you make of it? It's for this morning segment. It's up next.
On TV3. Welcome to this morning segment, and like you heard Roland say, we are talking about women using plastic just to fry plantain chips, just so it becomes crispier, and yes, they're able to get the market they need. And this is something that the FDA's attention has been drawn to, and already there was a statement issued yesterday by the Food and Drugs Authority, and I will just bring you a bit of that statement. It says that the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, has noted with grave concern videos and reports circulating on social media alleging the use of polythene, into bracket plastic, in frying plantain chips to improve the crispiness and shelf life of the product. We have commenced a nationwide market surveillance and laboratory testing of plantain chips to ascertain the veracity of these claims and protect the health and safety of consumers. For the record, deliberate melting of plastic in frying oil is a direct chemical contamination of food, making it unwholesome for human consumption. The introduction of plastic materials, specifically low-density polythene, into oil at high temperatures lead to 1. Chemical migration, which is hot oil accelerates the leaching of plasticizers and antioxidants from the plastic into the food. And FDA goes on to prohibit the use of such and also giving the public assurance of its commitment to protecting public health, and is also collaborating with local authorities and the police service to monitor the activities of these vendors. You know, Roland, the saddest bit of it is I saw a video that same day when I was having, no, it was actually a day before I had that conversation with the driver. A woman actually caught in the act of doing it. And she said, but what is wrong with it? Can't you see the plastic inside? It hasn't even melted. And she didn't seem to have a problem with it.
Very, very, very surprising. And then, so we want to speak to a toxicologist who will give us a better explanation as to why we have this phenomenon, but more importantly, looking at its repercussions and effects on the human body and the consumption behavior ultimately, as a way of public health implications, so to speak. So Adams Yakubu is joining us, a toxicologist, is a regular right here on the show. Good morning to you, Mr. Adams.
Hello, Roland.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you've seen this constantly, especially on TikTok or across the rest of social media. You want to do a thorough assessment of the situation, ask questions like whether this has been a phenomenon that had evaded the public eye and is just now being brought to the public domain, and then look at its implication. But first off, what are the chemical compositions of if it's cement that we saw a video being used to preserve beans, and then this one polythene that could also have the effect on the item in itself, that's beans, and then also plantain or whatever it's being used to fry?
Okay, thank you very much, Roland, and good morning to you and Beatrice, and also your viewers and listeners.
Okay.
It's actually saddening to be seeing videos going around indicating that our health is actually being compromised. So just to tell us, how long have you been exposed to these chemical contamination? You know, maybe it's just that it was just brought to our attention, but how long this practice has been going on? So this is something we need to worry about. So I always say, or always coin the term that we are a working experiment. We are just waiting for the results, because day in, day out, we are being exposed to chemicals. So we are like lab rats waiting for us to see the results at the end of it. Because, Roland, this is very, very alarming, and we have regulatory bodies that have the oversight responsibility to see to it that our health is safeguarded, our public health is actually, or the public health is actually safeguarded. That's why the Act 857, Act 851, that establishes the FDA, gave them the mandate to actually see to it that when it comes to the issue of public health, these things shouldn't even come to the limelight for us to take reactive measures instead of proactive measures. Now, coming back to the plastics or maybe the polythene used in frying our buffaloes and that of the plantain chips, we don't know how long that has been happening, and we can also verify the authenticity, because we're looking at the letter of the FDA. They are now going to do a surveillance to actually confirm whether this practice is actually ongoing, because all the videos we all saw is actually purported, and you know, in terms of evidence, we cannot focus on the purported videos. However, if this happens to be true, then I think it is cruelty, and I think it's compromised the health of the public. Now, when you take the plastic, for instance, I've been chancing on comments, I've been chancing on videos, other people trying to say when you melt polythene or plastics in oil, it will not be able to melt and water or whatever. That is a falsehood, because even plastics are even made from petrochemicals like petroleum, natural gases, and that of coal. So the source of plastic itself is oil. So it's easier for plastics or polythene to actually mix uniformly or homogeneously with the oil that is being boiled in. Because oil actually even boils around, ranges from 200 degrees Celsius to that of 300 degrees Celsius. And when you take the low density polythene, it actually melts at the degrees of 165. So that claim that plastic cannot actually melt in oil is actually falsehood. So when it's being used in there, recently, I think some years back, we had an issue of fried chicken being wrapped in white rubber and before boiling them and everything, and that also came to the limelight. Yes, and FDA also issued a communique to that effect, indicating that there is a possible leakage of certain material that are found in the plastic into our food. So even if you have, if that is happening, so imagine now you having the whole plastic component in the oil. This time around, when the issue came, they are saying that there are certain chemicals that can leach into the food. But this time around, there's something like leaching. The whole plastic itself is found in the oil, and this is very alarming because there are certain components of the rubber that is actually of the plastic that's actually deleterious to our health, like that of the phthalate and that of the bisphenol. These are not actually the component of plastics, but they add it to plastics to actually make it more to actually increase or to enable its plasticity. So for you to show the flexibility and the durability of the plastic, they need to add these chemicals. And these chemicals are known to be deleterious to our health. And whenever you have any warm or any hot food coming in contact with these plastics, these chemicals end up leaching into the food. Now, aside these plasticizers that they add to these plastics, now the plastic itself, that is the low density polyethylene and that of the polystyrene. These are the two types of plastics that are used in packaging our food. Yes, and research have shown that even eating, let's even assume that the plastic comes without these plasticizers. Research have shown that eating a type of plastic called the polystyrene itself to a higher temperature can also release other toxic chemicals like the dioxin and that of furans. And the dioxin is a very potent poison that can actually lead to immune system damage, and that can also lead to other neurological problems. So we are actually in a crisis if this is actually happening, because look at the number of years we've been consuming buffaloes and that of the plantain chips in traffic. So for how long have we been exposed to? Now, talking about the health impact of these chemicals. Now, when you take the health impact of this chemical, like that of the phthalate, for instance, yes, when phthalate leach into your food, phthalate is something we describe as endocrine disrupting chemicals. So when you take our human body, we have two major systems that coordinate activity of the human body. Okay. You have the nervous system. So as I'm speaking to you, you can hear me and also raising through it and asking a feedback question. These are all because of your nervous system. You read, walk around and everything. And there's a second coordinator system in our body called the hormonal system or the endocrine system. So when you take in these phthalates or when you are compromised or exposed to these phthalates, what actually happens is that it disrupts your hormonal system. So it disrupts your second command when it comes to coordination of activity in your human body. And that can lead to hormonal imbalances. And when you have hormonal imbalance in you, specifically to that of the women in their puberty age, can result in what we call polycystic ovarian syndrome. Because polycystic ovarian syndrome, one of its signs and symptoms is actually hormonal imbalance, or one of the risk factors that actually contribute to PCOS is hormonal imbalance. And research has shown that these phthalates can disrupt can disrupt your endocrine system, or can disrupt your hormonal system. That can lead to rise or deficiency in certain hormones in you.
Okay. Mr. Yakubu, so at the end of the day, this poses a huge problem for public health. Is that not? I mean, just recently in a minute, so that we can pick some calls before we go for a break. So apart from the hormonal perhaps problems, what do they do to the body generally? Let's say for males as well, because we seem to be restricting it. Yeah.
It has an issue to do with a reproductive issue. It affects the reproductive issue specifically of that of the female. And when it comes to that of the male, because of the oxidative stress activity of these chemicals, it can also lead to cancer or paralysis. That's a neurological problem, because it has the potency to put stress on our nervous cells or the nerve cells, which can lead to inactivation or inactivation of the nerve cells, subsequently leading to paralysis or other neurological problems. So there are a lot of health complications that is actually associated with this chemical exposure. A lot.
What about toxins that ultimately lead to cancer, etc.? Are they linked?
Okay, so I mentioned of the polystyrene, which is a type of plastic that is being used in wrapping our foodstuffs and oil and what kind of thing. And when these are heated to higher temperature, they release another new chemical, which is not originally a component of the plastic, called the dioxin, and that of the furans.
All right.
And dioxins are known to be carcinogenic.
All right.
A probable carcinogen, yes.
I think we have to bring you in studio, because it's not only plantain. I made mention of cement being used to dry beans. That's the beans itself, or cowpea as they call it. Yeah. And then I also saw an individual at one of the main stretches of Accra selling bread, and was using, I don't know what type of liquid was that. And then the paintbrush, the small paintbrush, was using it to paint, whether to make it look more shiny or firm or whatever, or to keep it from.
Yeah, when it comes to these things, even fishes and everything, sometimes they convert the white fish to red fish and everything. So there are a lot of coloration of our food products. So one question we should ask: are these additives? Are they human compatible? Have they been approved by the FDA?
Okay.
Are they known to be a food additives? So these are the questions we should ask. And if it is known to be food additives, they would have done it the right way. So if they hide to do it, meaning it is something they don't care what it will actually enhance their profit, that's what they look at. So there are a lot of issues that actually needs to be discussed when it comes to the regulation of these products. And
Charlie, Mr. Adam, thank you so much. Very insightful. We'll bring you to a studio. We will expand the conversation. I'm sure we can do some 40 minutes on the subject. But it speaks volumes to what consumers are going through, Beatrice.
I mean, the health implications are grave, listening to him. And I believe if we had time, he would have even told us a bit more. But let's watch some of you telling us your view about this whole revelation and what is being done.
The reason why the women make use the plastics for the plantain is because people demand more of the crispy plantains. So to get more customers, they use the plastics for that. First of all, I don't believe they would eat what they do, because first, it gives sickness like cancer. So I don't believe they would even eat what they do. So it's not right at all. So action should be taken aside the warning. The warning has been out. But would they really heed to the warning? They would have to have people undercover go and inspect those who make the plantain.
Obviously, this act is not a good one. Yeah, because rubber on its own is actually something that contains certain chemicals, and these chemicals are actually harmful to our system. And I think the rubber actually contains these certain chemicals that could probably cause certain chronic diseases like cancer diseases and the rest. So using it to actually fry the plantain itself is something that I don't think is even good enough. in the first place, let alone to talk about how it affects our health and all that. I think FDA have to actually issue a very strong warning, and I think they have to deploy their personnel at vital point that they suspect these people have been using rubbers to fry this plantain, so that anyone that is being found guilty will be dealt with severely.
I've heard about it, yes, and it's not a good habit for women to use rubber for frying plantain to make the plantain crispy. Though we like crispy plantain, but it's not a good habit for them to use. And research has proven that using rubber to fry some certain things gives out cancer. And urge FDA to do something about it because it's not really appalling.
It's not actually good though. It doesn't help. It doesn't help for our system. Like, it's not healthy. But with this system right now, I don't really know what the FDA can do about it. Besides, it will be very difficult because the sellers around in Ghana, they are too much. How can you conduct this way for like, I think maybe they can solve parts of that issue, but not all.
FDA has issued a warning regarding to women using polythene to fry their plantain. So I think it's a good act because doing that, and if they are able to implement this warning, I believe that it's going to help reduce the number of vendors using rubbers to fry their plantain.
Implementation, right? A number of you have sent us your messages. Let me just read some of them. And this is from Mr. Stephen Penn. Oh, it's been a long time. He says, good morning, Beatrice. Tell Roland, Cookie, and Na that I have returned to TV3, please. Yes, it's been a long time. You're welcome back, sir. And there is also a message coming from Prince Henry Koforia. Says the FDA doesn't have enough human resources to go after these wicked people. And the last but one says, good morning, Beatrice and Roland. The acquisition of state lands by individuals in opportune positions is a matter of concern. In the previous government, state lands were just shared like guanut. And this is coming from Simon Yang in Wa, who says, I support the government's move to streamline the sale of state lands. And perhaps the last one from me, Kwamena Acidity Ahafo at Trensuya says, good morning, Beatrice and Roland. Let me dedicate this new day to all members of National Serial Callers Association. Okay.
Well, so let's also do some too. Then we'll do the LPMs and we'll go for a break. Yes. So this one is coming from Anna. Madam Anna, good morning of guest DA School that's in the Gomo area. Good morning to you. And she sends a message. It says plastic and food should never meet in a frying pan, because the plastic breaks down and releases harmful chemicals instead. Plantain chips vendors should use fresh oil in frying the plantain, slice the plantain thinly, and maintain the right frying temperature, and drain the oil properly after frying the chips. Well, quite interesting as well. And then I'm watching this one. This one is coming from Adam, who is saying that's quite an interesting conversation you're having this morning, and I think everyone needs to listen. Consumers are outraged. You just showed a young person who has kidney disease, and yes, that's why we need to make sure that we protect our health. Meanwhile, please wish my ever graceful ambassador Nancy Sam Kwoti, the tourism ambassador for Miami Dade County to Africa, a prominent Ghanaian tourism expert, diplomat, and women's advocate president of ECOWAS Tourism Confederation. From all your friends across Ghana and the globe is coming from Adam as well. And this one also, which will be about the last but one. Some of our vendors and galamseyers are the causes of our sicknesses in this country because of excessive greed and the insatiable desire to accumulate money. People are using every deadly and diabolic means to even prepare and preserve foods. And he continued, this is sad that a fellow Ghanaian will intentionally poison thousands of fellow Ghanaians to death. And good morning to you, Felix Selom Dali. And it's coming from Sherry Giovanni. Samuel, good morning to you. Thank you for always watching. And the last one is coming from Mejina Kwesi. Mejina Kwesi, good morning to you. Sends a long one. and says that my concern this morning is about a very worrying health issue in our country, the increasing number of young people who are being diagnosed with kidney disease.
Yeah.
And so from recent statement by the health minister in parliament, it's clear that kidney-related diseases among the youth are rising at an alarming rate, and so something needs to be done about it.
A short message, Aziz Donla says, the youth must be recruited simplistically. Okay. Aziz Donla, thank you also for your message. Well, Ramadan means together with loved ones. Ramadan means together at iftar. And Ramadan means together in spirit. And Ramadan means together with Lipton. This season, make every moment better with a warm cup of Lipton Yellow Label. Tea brewed with love and served with a smile. So share more meals, check up on more loved ones, and spend more time in reflection and conversation. This Ramadan, do more with a cup of Lipton, because tea is for togetherness. And you're still here on New Day on TV3. When we come back, we'll bring you the big issue and more. Do stay with us.
How may I help you today?
We'd like to open a bank account.
Sign here, sign here, sign here, and here. And now you draw direction to your house. I need your thumbprint. And I'll need your birth certificate too. No, I need the original.
A lot has changed since you banked like this. So have we. We've made it easier than ever to open an account online and bank on the go through our mobile app, online banking, and more. EcoBank, a better way to bank your way.
Sign here, and here.
EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
Something big and truly extraordinary is happening this Ghana month. We are celebrating the brilliance, the beauty, and the unbreakable spirit of what we create as Ghanaians. Introducing Gold Board Jewelry Heritage Village, happening from 26th to 28th March 2026, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. each day. Join us at Akwaba Park, right opposite the Hajj Village, for a one-of-a-kind curated experience. This isn't just an exhibition, it's a vibrant heritage village alive with Ghanaian excellence. Discover proudly made in Ghana brands and institutions showcasing breathtaking craftsmanship, bold innovation, world-class manufacturing, and export-ready treasures, all in one electrifying space. It's a powerful celebration of our innovation, culture, our creativity, and the economic future we're building together. Experience Ghana like never before. Celebrate value addition the Gold Board Jewelry way, where every piece tells our story. To exhibit, partner, or simply be part of this historic moment, call now 020-941-7777 or 053-630-8888. This is one of a kind. Don't miss out. Gold Board Jewelry, pure, precious, proudly Ghanaian.
The Ghana Exim Bank is 10 years old. Hooray! And to commemorate this milestone, the Ghana Exim Bank is hosting a two-day international conference on the theme, A Decade of Enabling Export Trade and Industrial Transformation, Resetting Gexim for the Next Frontier. The event takes place on the 25th to 26th of March at the Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast City, 8 a.m. each day. President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will perform the official opening of the conference. Special guest and speaker, Honorable Elizabeth Ofosue-Jari, Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry. Conference host is Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank. For inquiries, call 0208-541-480 or visit eximbankghana.com/conference to register. Media partners: Daily Graphic, Media General, The Multimedia Group, City FM, Radio Gold and Channel 1 TV. And knowledge partners include IFC and SME Finance Forum.
When nations rise, it begins with bold conversations. When economies grow, it is driven by partnership. This April, Ghana's business and policy leaders converge at the Kwewu Business Forum 2026, the nation's premier platform for investment, enterprise, and economic transformation. With special guest of honor, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, joining captains of industry, financial institutions, investors, and entrepreneurs.
The Kwewu Business Forum is more than just an event. It is a call to action. And so let us work together to build a Ghana that is competitive, productive, and inclusive, and a Ghana that creates opportunities for all.
Come, let's engage in high-level dialogue, explore industry exhibitions, build powerful networks, and unlock real opportunities from finance and insurance to manufacturing, agribusiness, SMEs, and innovation. This is where it all happens. From the 3rd to the 5th of April 2026 at the Kwewu Convention Center, ETBA, go to www.kwewubusinessforum.com and register now. To register for exhibitions, call 059 555 5885 or 059 555 5995. Kwewu Business Forum. Connect, promote, grow.
26 promises joy, adventure, and new experiences. Global Wings Travel and Tours, in partnership with Media General, invites you to experience the best of Asia with an unforgettable Malaysia and Singapore tour this April 2026. Experience 9 unforgettable days filled with experience, luxury, and limitless fun. Your package includes return air ticket, 4 nights Kuala Lumpur Hotel, 3 nights Singapore Hotel, daily half board in both cities, Malaysia visa facilitation, Kuala Lumpur City Tour, Petronas Twin Tower, Genting Highland with cable ride, inter-country transfer, Singapore City Tour and Marina Observatory Deck, Sentosa Island full day tour with cable car, and so much more. Why wait? Make your April 2026 Malaysia and Singapore trip a reality with one call. Book now by calling or WhatsApping 0550 188 181 or 0553 688 398. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Global Wings Travel GA.
We have taken full responsibility for what has happened.
They came with a mission, but excellence is never given, it is earned.
This your strong communication skills. Unpack it for me.
This is where potential meets opportunity.
The winner for Top Intern 2025, Sandra.
Top Intern returns. Season 3, coming soon.
Today, I am the chosen one.
Telecell, connecting energies.
Yes, had it here. Delay dada na TV so LP driver. Ma twimi ti te say articulator. Say the many who hancho afidie ne so no. Wotimu say me de nsem nam. Eni da ena me call makura ekohu abrewa eni akwakora me call ye no soso no ya ya asade aya mamre ye de niam agu akwan mu ma be me ho akwankyere ena ma san machi abankran ye de delay show no eba ne apagya akowiem esrum onam Inti every ennei amiti TV so ediko si da yesu beba ne ma ye to som ye nu eye Saturday 6:30 p.m. on TV3 moma ne na ya esan se ebeye wonkom na ye peme anodin say we the standard.
Brought to you by Telecel, Pepsodent, Malta Guinness, Betway, Gino Tomato Mix, Lindsay Sanitary Pad, Delay Foods, Tabia Takum, Ohiniri Seasoning Powder.
The Delay Show now shows on Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. on TV3.
She mene efe gbujino ke ha o ka wa chanye won chanye o manye ko shibana akanye du mo asefe da bibio na ne ko nye wa fro ba jino papake hwe ni twumo ne no ka eminu chulo efe adura me na yi aboa me ka nche fe nche mene ni ame akpehia bi ne ajo moko fe moko me alomo ame fe adam ekumi ame awo.
Now we're very grateful for such a wonderful event. The Ghana month is increasingly becoming one of the busiest on our tourism calendar. Obviously, the president has said that it doesn't matter whether you come to Ghana in January, in February, in March, or in December, you should have the same quality tourism experiences that you would.
The fact remains that our heritage is not only found in monuments and historical records, but in lived experiences. That's how we speak, how we move, how we celebrate, and how we tell our stories.
Abufra bongo no match today na mental be piri lete be piri lo eno na edu kron fuko tia we se esia so kotoko pata we rekpe ko fila bi damasi ko fila bi na da ofu so ko tia we se da wu ahura pe inyankan sense. Thank you you are done agodi.
It is my pleasure to welcome you yet again to another Ghana Month celebration. Our month for celebrating our beloved nation Ghana. Like the fancy say, Ebusia won free ye, what you do yembra. Zebe say biamo, I hear to my Ga family, Obake.
At this point, I have a very simple task that every Ghanaian walks away from here with a renewed sense of pride that young creatives see possibility, that small businesses see growth, and that families rediscover our stories. And that in 5 years, Ghana Month becomes a nationally anticipated cultural institution. May this month remind us that being Ghanaian is not ordinary, it is extraordinary. And so on that note, on behalf of Management of Media General, we declare the Ghana Month 2026 duly launched.
And you're still here on New Day on TV3. My name is Beatrice. Welcome to the big issue. This morning we're looking at the recruitment into security services. We saw the Interior Minister give us a breakdown of what transpired yesterday in that press conference, telling us that with about almost 500,000 of individuals who applied, they could only scroll it down to 105,000, and even out of that, they can only pick 5,000. We want to go into the reasons behind the figures we have, and really what happens to the rest of the individuals who are looking forward to getting employed as well. And of course, we'll also be going into that announcement by the Land Ministry yesterday that the office intends to publish the names of individuals who purchased state lands specifically between the years 2017 and 2024. This is part of all the measures they are putting in place to ensure that there is proper accountability, transparency in the system, and a new way of ensuring that land administration in Ghana works for the interest of all. I do have on the panel with me our regular panelist, Madam Rotalyn Imora Yana, public interest advocate. Good morning to you, ma'am. It's great to have you.
It's always good to be here.
Yes, I have just on her right side, immediately after her, Madam Gabriela Tete, who is the Central Regional Communications Officer for the governing NDC. Good morning to you, ma'am. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, I do have as well, Madam.
NCU for what? You just forgotten your designation. Pardon? She didn't mention your designation, your most recent title. Which is? Oh, please, let's go on.
Okay, I'm about to introduce the woman who just spoke, Madam Rabbi Salifu, who is
Rabbi
Salifu. Actually, it's Rabiatu, short form of Rabiatu, Deputy Director of Communications for the opposition NPP. Good morning to you, ma'am. It's great to have you.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Ramadan Mubarak.
How do I respond?
You say Ramadan Kareem.
Ramadan Kareem. Thank you very much. We'll be joined by via video call by Mr. Richard Kumado, who is a security consultant, just to help us break this down as well. Ladies, thank you very much for joining us once again. I want us to watch the Interior Minister and the breakdown of the numbers yesterday as he addressed the press.
Develop something that will help. You may talk about how fair the thing is or how unfair it is, but what method are you going to use as a way of not using human interference? So that I look at you and say, okay, you can go. You are too short, you can't go. You are too fair, you can't go. That one is too tall. I mean, so you have to use a system that is devoid of human interference to enable the system to carry you to that end. Yes, I know the disappointment. I know the difficulty, but the issue is about joblessness and not issue about the security. And you, all of us know, you want to get a professional police officer. You want to get a professional immigration officer. You just don't want any person who will go in. I mean, I'm sorry to say this. We are having a challenge with people with mental issues in the service. You have people with drug issues in the service. All these things are things that you use, and through that, some people will fall along the way to enable you get, someone said, about the best of best. So I know a lot of young people may be disappointed, but they should exercise restraint. The president instructed that, look, those who qualify and pass medicals, let's keep the data. This is the first phase. We are hoping that maybe later in the, because remember this current recruitment that we are doing is a 2025 recruitment. Hopefully when we are out of the IMF, we could do the 2026. So we'll pick from that same data. Hopefully, if maybe it's past 6 months, then you can only ask them to repeat medicals, but not to start opening the process all over again. The police force that we have, the number that we have, just as I mentioned, 49,000 plus. Immigration, about 18,000 plus. Fire, about 17,000 plus. Prisons, about 14,000 plus. Narcotics control, about 3,000 plus. When you put all of them together, they are less than 100,000. They are less than 100,000. But even that, the wage bill on them is about 13 billion. So if the resources were there, I mean, I would have been the happiest person if we're able to recruit about 500,000 more security people. But let's be practical. Will our economy be able to absorb that? We all know that practically that is not possible. If you have a police of 50,000, can you really take 130,000 and add to an existing 49,000? So this is where we find ourselves, and I want to plead with the rank and file of our youth to appreciate that. That's why we introduce a number of other measures that we are hoping into the future may even help us as a way of screening them. Definitely you have to develop something that will help. You may talk about how fair the thing is or how unfair it is, but what method are you going to use as a way of not using human interference? So that I look at you and say, okay, you can go. You are too short, you can't go.
And I just watched the Interior Minister Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak giving us the reasons behind the 5,000. But just a bit more, he talked about how many people applied, about 500,000 Ghanaians. To the Immigration Service alone, there were about 180,000 applicants. To the Police Service, 130,000 applicants, and they could only pick 2,500. For Fire Service, 124,000 applicants, and also other areas as well, and the numbers, and eventually the 105 ready for medicals, and yet they can only pick 5,000. I'm coming to you first, Madam Gabriela Tete, because I mean this is coming at a time that we've already had the the World Economic Forum in its global risks report saying that unemployment is a serious problem, and yet the president also saying that a number of people have been employed.
Good morning to you once again, my fellow co-panelists, and to our viewers. Special good morning to the NDC in the Central. I don't know how I said I've developed a coarse voice, but let's move on. Yes, unemployment has, for the greater part of the last decade, been a big challenge for all successive governments, and the current NDC administration is no exception to it. I mean, from the time that we're developing the manifesto, 2024 manifesto, the people, we made mention of initiatives aside security employment that will be made available to the young people. And those initiatives are already being deployed by the various agencies. We have the Ejumoro program with the NEIP. We have the apprenticeship program under the Youth Authority. We have the YEA also going through different kind of models together with support from private sector to create jobs for the youth. And of course, we've also have this security recruitment for those who are interested in joining the security. But what this tells you, listen to what the Interior Minister said, was that as a country, we need to be more particular about creating jobs for the youth. But it's worrying that 500,000 people are applying to positions that only 1% can be accepted to. That is worrying. We couldn't even make it even 10%, which would have been 50,000, because don't forget that recruitment into the security services is also an item on the central government's budget. And there's a limit to how much fiscal space government can take in recruiting more people into the public service. And that is why these initiatives, especially the youth-driven initiatives, are very important. Now, aside these youth-driven initiatives, I think that government rollout of some of the other programs that we've started, like the 24-hour economy bill, act that was passed by Parliament, we should quickly implement those programs so that the young people of this country can benefit. There is a challenge on our hands. Let nobody kid themselves that we don't have a youth unemployment issue. We do have a youth unemployment issue. The statistics indicate that well, between 20 to 22% of our young people are looking for jobs. And it is the reality. And that is what we have as a government since His Excellency John Dramani Mahama came into office. Tried to focus his attention on. One of the reasons why they've been appointed so many young people is to create the impression to the young people that we have more vibrant young people here who understand you and are here to try and address your challenges. But as I said, 500,000 people applying for a position of just 5,000 is a big problem.
You're saying that
now, for us as a party, this has been a very big challenge for us over the last couple of days. Because, you see, when we go out to campaign, we go with promises we are going to help with jobs, and especially when you go into communities, and we assured people that we are going to now bring security positions, which was a very good thing, because initially the plan was that at least every district should have minimum about 2,000 people from those districts to help with the security of the districts across the whole country. And that would have been good opportunity for us to employ all these people. But government is limited in this fiscal year, especially under an IMF program. And so we're unable to actually execute that in its entirety. Now only 5,000 people can go in phase one. Those who have passed the test and now are going for medicals, we have 105,000 of them. What happens to the 105,000? The administration says that, okay, His Excellency instructed the Interior Minister that, okay, those who are not going to make it, we keep their names in the database for the next recruitment exercise.
He did mention it.
So they will no longer go through the process of buying forms, going through aptitude tests and all these things, because they've already pre-qualified for medicals. And then from that onset onwards, the next recruitment exercise, priority will be given to those people.
Yes, that's just an aspect of this whole employment sector that we're talking about. And if my data serves me right, the public sector can only employ about 7% of people who actually need jobs. You mentioned that we should quickly implement these policies, and these policies refer to the Ejumera you talked about, the National Apprenticeship Program.
They are currently ongoing.
What is stopping? Because you mentioned it like you're in government.
No,
so
I mean around the time. It means that currently, if we are doing 10,000 people who are rolling into a program, Ejumera alone, I think when they put out the application, over 116,000 people or so applied. That's not to be corrected, but that was also a very serious number who applied for that program. And currently, government, I know that in Central Region, the coordinator for the National Apprenticeship Program is our Deputy Regional Youth Organizer. And almost every weekend, every other day, he's going to one district or the other to supply them with their equipment, hair dryers, carpentry equipment, tiling equipment, and all kinds of equipment at the various assemblies. So I have seen that program is being deployed, at least in my region. And I'm sure that it's going on in other regions as well. Under the NEIP, where we have the Ejumera program, last week, I know that the cohort, one of the cohorts went for their interviews in Kaswa. So there too, there's some program going on. I also know that there are some people who have been accepted on the program, and a list came out, I think, 2-3 days ago, for the Gomoa Enclave districts, Gomoa Central, Gomoa East, and the rest. So those who made it in the initial phases. So all these projects are ongoing. But I looked at the number of people that need jobs and the applications. We need to find a way to up and make sure that their service, quote unquote.
Again, I go back to you being in government. When you say we need to find a way, I mean, how are you doing it? Because people say that, I mean, you've been in government for over a year now, and there are critics who say that, but now we should see a bit more, although the government is being praised.
And as I mentioned, a lot of these initiatives is dependent on government's fiscal ability right now. And under a fund program where the limitations and trying to fix loopholes that Honorable Attoforsen is doing, their allocation and the focus for those youth initiatives, at least, it's commendable that the government had the foresight to prioritize youth initiatives in this administration. Let's give the government credit for that. And now, as the year progresses, we've gone to 1 year. Yes, I've mentioned to you that if for nothing at all, I have seen those programs being deployed. I don't have the data on how many people have actually benefited from it yet because I haven't sought that data. And I won't come and sit here and exaggerate on data. But I'm sure that if we probe the various coordinators who are responsible for these programs and the Ministry of Youth and Manpower, they'll be able to tell us how many have been serving so far. Because I know for a fact that they are giving out those equipment in my region. And I know for a fact that those who went for the interviews under the NEIP programs, their lists have come out. And whatever support that they are supposed to give them, because mind you, the NEIP tomorrow program has different business initiatives under it. So I can't come and sit here and say, oh, and they are tiling businesses or they are hairdressers and seamstresses. You have to probe from the actual agencies which sectors have shown interest and the actual support that's given them. But the most important thing is that government is prioritizing job creation. And it's not just about 500,000 young people chasing after 5,000 job opportunities. There are other initiatives, other projects going on that give the opportunity to young people to also find something to do. Aside that, I also forgot to mention about even the initiatives in agriculture. In Central Region, the last time the district as there's a district, what they call it, this Assembly Common Fund Secretariat, asked the various assemblies to identify locations where they can build irrigation projects in their next budget cycle. And all the districts in Central Region are all trying to identify locations where they can have these irrigation dams to support commercial farming or large-scale farming in their district. So it's a process that is ongoing, but as I said, the reason why I said that this has to be ramped up is because we have to attach more seriousness to it. And mind you, the issue of youth unemployment, every year, since 2012, 2013, this country has been releasing onto the job market not less than 450,000 people. And these people are falling out from secondary school, JSS, primary school into JSS into secondary school, into university. As they grow and they move up, so many of them keep falling on the sides. And all these people need different categories of jobs. That was why in the time of the first administration of His Excellency John Mahama, we even came up with the day schools, the concept of the day schools, to allow us to, in the shortest possible term, create more opportunities so that those who are falling off the education ladder from the JSS can be absorbed back into the educational system and gives us more time. But consistently, at least, if for nothing at all, let's give the government some credit that we have all these initiatives currently being rolled out in our various districts. And as I mentioned, I have seen it physically.
And I will come back to the rest of the panel in the studio here, but I want us to get a quick understanding of really what's going on. And we're joined by Richard Kumado, who is a security consultant. Mr. Kumado, if you can hear us, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Beatrice.
Help us understand really this recruitment process again, which obviously eventually is going to pick 5,000 out of the 1,500 individuals. And I'm asking you this because yesterday, when the Interior Minister held that press conference, he came under criticism for some of the details he gave us.
No, definitely, there wouldn't be any problem with the security recruitment if the minister has not come to take the centralized position. He has no business doing that, and he brought this upon himself. What are the basic parameters for security recruitment? Beatrice, as you speak, the military are recruiting people. There's no brouhaha in the public space about it. The BNI is recruiting people, and there's no brouhaha in the space about it. But because he introduced a third-party vendor into the recruitment agency, for which the security agencies themselves have not asked for, it's creating some level of fear that the agency handlers are afraid and they don't know what the minister is dragging them into. And so this is the basic procedure. When you want to recruit people, it's basically 4 stages. The first stage is that people buy forms manually or automatedly. The second stage is that they go for document verification and examination. They can do it manually or automatedly. The third stage is aptitude test. The aptitude test can be done manually or automatedly. When you do it manually, you are using pen and paper for which somebody will have to sit down and mark. But when you use a digitalized platform in a competitive environment such as ours, where there's a lot of suspicion, the best practice of digitalized examination or computer-based dictates that once people complete the test and they submit, you are supposed to display their scores. They did not do that, and that raised red flag and vulnerabilities. After you came back after many days and tell the applicants that you have qualified, you have been disqualified, people are asking what is the score. And that was where the minister got it wrong and created a problem for him. The last stage of the recruitment procedure is that there has to be vetting. At the vetting stage, you are going to do three things. You are doing medicals, you are doing background checks, and you are doing interviewing. The company the minister brought to do the digitalized platform do not have the capacity to do the vetting for the security agencies. Why? Because in this country, there are only two agencies mandated to do background checks on behalf of the state. That is the police and the BNI. So the question you ask is that this is a third-party vendor within the security management environment. Has the BNI and the police and immigration finished their background checks on this company before they start the process? Has the Attorney General signed a data protection legal agreement with the company before the data was handed over to the company? And who is going to pay? Is it the monies from the applications of the children, which run into about 100 million plus, that is going to be used? Or the agencies under the ministry is going to be used to pay the vendor, for which the ministries or the agencies did not ask for? And Beatrice, are we saying that the police do not have capacity to employ 3,000 people on their own without the interference of the minister and the ministry? Are we saying that immigration today, the leadership of immigration, do not have capacity to employ 1,000 people? I think the minister brought this upon himself, and I will also urge him to stop speaking, because the more he speaks, his words are not aligning with the expectations of the applicants, and that is why we have this problem on our hands.
It seems that the minister, others say that could be in a difficult situation where he talks about the fact that if you look at the numbers of these security agencies, those that are already working, they need more, but the economy doesn't allow us to. And they needed to bring in a mechanism so they could only pick how many they thought they could.
He got the mechanism wrong, Beatrice. He got it wrong. Do you know how many people have applied to the BNI? Do you know how many people have applied to the military? Do you know how many people have applied to join Yoko? The agencies, the security agencies not under the Ministry of Interior. Do you know how many people have applied? When I was joining the BNI many years ago in the 80s, we wrote aptitude tests. So computer-based test is a simple thing you do. And in the 21st century, whether you take it in a centralized school or you take it remotely, you are supposed, in line with best practice, to disclose that score. You didn't do it, and the minister used a word. I don't know why they keep on bringing the president into the picture when Tornado told them not to do so. When you said that the president told you that those who qualify for medicals will be the ones to be given priority in next year, your grassroots is listening, the applicants are listening, and they will say that, why then do you disqualify us at the aptitude test stage? Because by your analogy, that you have to bring in a strategy to streamline the process, the people are saying that you manipulate the process and you massage it. And that is why people are bringing issues about AI. AI has nothing to do with this. It's a computer-based test, and the right approach will have to be deployed. He got it wrong and ran the whole system into trouble. And even today, the agencies themselves are worried and troubled because they don't know what is dragging them into. We could have done this without any problem. We could have done this without any interference, and they will still achieve the objective of government in this regard.
Let me get clarity again before we move on. You say, and I'm referring again to what the minister said, the economy restricts how many people we can employ. And then he also talks about the IMF conditionalities and even goes on to refer to how much we're already paying in terms of wage bill for those who are currently employed, about 13 billion. Are you saying that irrespective of these, the minister still got the 5,000 number wrong? There could be more?
It's not the duty of the minister to come and tell us how many people they are employing to the service. It's not the duty of the Minister of Interior to come and be telling us how much government is paying. It's not the duty of the minister to come and tell us how many workforce we have and how many we needed most. But let's even say that the minister said we need to take 5,000 people into the agencies under him. The approach he adopted is wrong. The strategy he put in place is wrong. And there was no exigency, there was no emergency for the minister to take a centralized position and give us a third-party vendor whose background has not been checked, and he threw it onto the security agencies. And Beatrice, that is why I'm saying that if the minister says that the agencies under him are going to employ 5,000 people, do you know how many people the BNI is employing? Do you know how many people Yoko will employ? Do you know how many people the military is employing? Because these agencies are National Security Council institutions that are not directly under the Minister of Interior. He got it wrong. And the better he stops speaking, the better it is for him.
Mr. Kumado, you should admit that in as much as you may have information, the minister might also have information regarding the state of our purse and other issues that we have that you may not be privy to, which is the reason he gave us what he did.
5,000 people. If we are taking 5,000 people, it has nothing to do with your purse. How then do you justify, how then do you qualify those who are going to make the 5,000 list? Where are they going to come from? And where do they come from? You have just disappointed the applicants and everybody. We are not talking about money here. In any case, when it comes to the payment of this particular third-party vendor and the strategy he brought, has the Minister of Finance approved for the budget? And when the minister approved, did the minister tell him or say to him how they should get the 5,000 people? And who are these 5,000 people? These applicants are not asking for money. They are not talking about 6,000 or 7,000, but you gave a caveat of 5,000 people. And you screwed up the process to favor some people and to disadvantage certain people. And that is where the cry is coming from. We have done this job for many years, and we cannot get it wrong this particular time around. Because the nature of what we are doing, number one, is creating national security issues. Number two, is creating communication problem for the outlook of the security agencies. Number three, the agencies are afraid, they don't know what the minister is dragging them into. And number four, it doesn't look right and it doesn't look fair. And the objective is wrong and it is screwed up. The minister do not need to come into this space to be telling us about many of the things he's saying. And the earlier he stops speaking, the better it is for him and the government. The earlier he takes himself out of the space and allow the agencies under him to do the recruitment, the better it is for him and his government. God knows I am saying it, and I have said it for many years. And I have said it properly, effectively, consistently, persistently. He got it wrong. And that is the genesis of this whole matter.
Mr. Kumado, how do you say the minister screwed up the process when in his explanation, hold on, Mr. Kumado. In his explanation, he said that we tried to reduce human interference, so we digitalized the process. How did that eventually...
He said that what strategy are you going to put in place in order to extract the number? It means that the minister doesn't know the strategy. He has no strategy. The minister says that he wants to reduce human interference. Are you saying that the police as we have today, with the biggest IT center we have, cannot have a basic IT structure that would eliminate human structure, human element? Go to the National Health Insurance and go and look at the simple mechanism they are using, which eliminates human error and human elements into it. Go to the other government agencies and go and look at the simple, basic database management structure they have that is eliminating human error. And that is why I said that I have been trained to interpret human emotions and to interpret communication. If I interpret to you the nature of the things the minister said and the negative implications, it is huge on government. The minister must be told to stop speaking. It is not adding up.
Beyond what the minister says is what is the issue that we're currently facing, unemployment. It still boils down to the fact that a number of people would not have the jobs they thought they would. And just my last but one question to you. I was earlier talking about the World Economic Forum's Global Risks Report, which actually said that unemployment or a lack of economic opportunity could pose as Ghana's biggest risk in 2026, irrespective of the fact that we're seeing economic gains. Again, there's also some data coming from the Ghana Statistical Service, which even talks about those who are employed and said that 7 out of 10 of individuals who are employed are in insecure jobs. For you as a security consultant, looking at the huge numbers of people who are unemployed and this latest development, what do you see as the ramifications of what we have on our hands now?
You see, politics again have created a problem for the outlook of the national security architecture. But if we are talking about employment, whether to the formal sector or the informal sector, I heard my sister Gabrielle talking about initiative government has put in place, and the aggregate of that could create some level of jobs. We need to change the narrative, and we need to act properly. Because if you are talking about employment, the security agencies are not the only avenue for employment. And that is why you hear me screaming and passionate about it. We are not allowing the security agencies to employ based on the need. The security agencies need people with specialized background, irrespective of who they are and where they come from and whichever party they belong to. The president said that in the 69 Independence Address, that we need to build a nation that irrespective of where you come from, you have opportunity to serve and to be employed. There are various ways of doing it. Beatrice, my first job and my professional career was employment and labor relations at the Department of Labor. When people are employing people, sensitive organizations in Ghana and abroad are sitting as a recruitment consultant. So I'm speaking from a well-known position, research into it. There are various ways government can employ people. Because we do not have the data for government agencies to put up a coherent and aggregate data for people to know how many people they have employed, the number seems very evasive. Other than that, I am aware the consistency and the aggregate numbers going up in some of the agencies when the NDC government came to power and when the NPP government left power. We need to work on those things and do not put our eyes on the security agencies as the only source of employment. We know that unemployment is a major issue, and that is why the public sector needs to come to the show. And that is why when you concluded the year with a deficit, with a surplus in your forest is going up, and your inflation is coming down, and your macroeconomic environment is great, it means that the interest people pay when they borrow from the banks is coming down, and you can encourage them to create more jobs where people will form partnerships and aggregates to be able to employ themselves or get a job experience somewhere. You do not use the security agencies as a sure way of giving them the jobs. You will do that and succeed, but in the long run, the state is not benefiting from the dividend of employing people, and there are strategic ways of doing that.
Mr. Kumado, I would want you to hold on. I need to get the thoughts of the panel here in studio. Madam, I wanted to get your thoughts earlier because huge numbers of people who are unemployed must be a concern for all of us.
Beatrice, good morning to you and good morning to my sisters here. You see, listening to Kumado and then earlier submission by Gabi, and also having done some quick research on this and all that the minister said yesterday, adding it up to what the sentiment or the entire temperature of the youth is in this country, all I can say is run, run, run. Or when they say run, 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 it means there is what? Fire on the mountain. You see, when you start to deceive people, and when you start to speak to the unrealistic issue, especially as a government communicator, it becomes so difficult for you. And for this week, I really don't envy any government communicator on this issue specifically, because you've just listened to Kumado. I was only held aback a bit when I was trying to follow his commentary, tying it up to how objective I expected him to have been, and also disassociation of emotions and some reactions. But
you
of course,
think he was objective.
But of course, I'm just telling you, I'm just speaking on my expectation and listening to him as somebody who is supposed to be a security analyst and then somebody who is supposed to be one of the neutrals in this country. I have followed him over the years. I know what he's been about largely. And then I'm quite, I won't say happy, but confused with his approach this morning.
What are you insinuating? I want to understand.
But all this, I'll come. Just come with me. You get me clear. I want to start from the process, what is happening and how we feel as Ghanaians. And we've been told to be citizens and not spectators. Now, my sister said it. And I'm so happy that the minister came speaking instead to the public, but to I don't know whether he was addressing NDC foot soldiers. I don't know who exactly he was speaking with or to, but if you listen to him, he was actually apologizing to his grassroots base, which of course kind of goes against our constitutional requirements when you look at Article 17. And also when you go to look at the Labor Act that Kumado spoke about, the Act 203, Act 615, it talks about equality, talks about fairness, talks about transparency. Now with this whole scam, I call it scam. This whole recruitment process that Kumado even thinks the minister shouldn't be speaking on.
You're using a word the minority leader used that he later apologized for.
I do agree with the minority leader.
But he apologized for it, meaning
well,
that
maybe
he
in
accepted
context.
he was wrong.
Maybe in context. I am still calling it a scam. He probably apologized in context. And if we are contextualizing our conversation, I don't shape it according to somebody's apology and somebody's thinking. It goes to my opinion and the position as well. What I am telling you is that we all know that unemployment issue is not new in this country. Successive governments, like my sister mentioned, have suffered this. And for a government or a party that spoke on entire reset, that gave the youth of this country great assurance that, look, what you are going through today would never be experienced when we come back to power. And what makes their case worse is what the youth of Ghana saw from the period of 2012 to 2016 or 15. And then today what they have started experiencing and maybe, I don't pray they fail, and maybe yet to experience. Now, I always see His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as someone who is on a redemption ride. But I don't know what is worrying the implementation process from the 2024 manifesto, what was stated, which I have this morning, and I'll give you the sections and points that I will be speaking to, versus what we are seeing on the ground. Now you know that IMF is something that we need to exit peacefully. You knew the figures we were battling with. You knew how Ghanaians were so unhappy with us on IMF, on borrowing and all that. So you had the figures. You spoke to the figures. And you understood exactly the task. That's why you told Ghanaians you were coming to do better. So I and some other person watching me and the disappointed people, the minister, the youth, the young people of this country, over 100,000 of them who have been disappointed, calling for the minister's reaction, will tell you that you knew what the situation was, went on to promise me. When the NDC was promising, what prevented the NDC from understanding that, look, although we agree that you need to be served, although your plight must be attended to, we as well will tell you that this is what we will do through this. For instance, you're talking about 250,000 security recruitment. You could have just told the youth that, look, for the first year, given the figures we are looking, and when we come, we are pretty sure we will be able to do around 4,000 to 5,000.
And hold on, I would let you continue, but I want you to hold on. You're using some strong words this morning. You've even talked about the government deceiving Ghanaians.
But that's not a lie.
Why people
that's
are
not
very,
a lie. It's so deceptive.
Are very. If I could land,
they've been very deceptive.
If I could land, you're
Yes.
saying that the government has been very deceptive.
Yes.
You're saying that the government promised and yet is not delivering, and you're even calling this whole process a scam.
Yes.
Of course, disagreeing with what I tried to bring
Yes.
in earlier,
And
that
I'm
the minority said
all
it,
my
and
statements.
minority leader said it, and
Yes.
and apologized. Are you being fair to a government that has been in power for just 1 year, whereas these issues that you're talking about were brought on by the government that exited before this government that is in for just 1 year?
Beatrice, I'll pride myself, and I would say I'm one of the fairest communicators so far to this government. And I'll tell you, the last time I sat here with Auntie Rhoda, when the gender minister did the right thing, you remember, on the child theft issue, I sat here, commended her, commended the government. I went on the sister station and spoke about what the government was doing right. I actually don't really argue blindly, and I don't just condemn when I don't need to condemn. I am telling you this morning that these guys have been deceptive, and I'm repeating it. Why I am saying that is where I was bringing you to. You know, you have the figures. You have spoken about it. You deliberately sat and sold forms to close to over 100 million cedis, knowing very well that you just had limited slots of about 5,000 that you will be recruiting. Now, what we expected was to have some realistic quota sent out that, look, the government at this particular moment promised to do security recruitment. But from where we sit and looking at the figures, we are able to recruit 5,000 or around 5,000, even if you want to give it some flexibility, so that the young people applying would be going. And I wouldn't have had problem even if the forms were 10,000. You know why? So that you will know that the window is opened for only 10,000 people who would apply, and that would have made it competitive. You understand? So that when they apply and you realize that about 10,000 people have applied already, you close the window and say, look, given the number of applicants versus the quota we have, we will be able to process this 10,000 so that other people who would have used their money to go and apply for this same process, the same opportunity that you will not give them, or that will not be available for them, wouldn't go and waste that money.
Madam Selifu, again, you expect...
Because you said it was, Kumado said it. He said the whole system was given to a consultant who was using a computerized process for this. So tracking the number of applicants was so easy. You could do it real time. Okay, so far on this day, this so number of people have applied. And you knowing that you are doing a cap of 10,000, you obviously wouldn't be stretching people to go through.
You expected this exercise to be done manually?
I'm not saying manually, I just mentioned computerized.
Computerized.
And I said, and that is what they are doing. So if that is what they are doing, I'm only telling you that they could just track and know that so far we've had 10,000, 20,000, 15,000, so that you don't get over 100,000 young people applying when you know you don't have the slots for them.
I want to...
And that one, I am saying it for us to all learn, both NDC and PP, that look, some of these things can really be transparent and communicated effectively, so that when we know we have 10,000, just 5,000, you could just allow only about 15 or 10,000 to apply because of the competition that will come with it. Then you would have known that just about half of the number couldn't make it, whilst half made it.
I want to go...
And if indeed we want to go by their words, that those who couldn't make it will be carried forward in the nearest future, then it would have meant that the half number or the rest of the people who couldn't go through but have qualified would have as well been given the assurance that, look, the next phase would have been you. So that the rest of the numbers who would have wasted their time following up on or even going online to check where am I, they don't even know their fate. They come to tell you you've been approved, you are pending, you are whatever. they would have channeled their energy elsewhere.
I want to ask you this question before I come to Madam Ayana, and of course you have the opportunity to have your final word. But if I get your argument, it looks like you expected the government to fulfill these promises that you just mentioned.
Let me take
in a year. Just a second.
Let me not in a year. I did this. Don't distort.
But
I don't like
saying,
it when you distort it. No,
I'm not distorting
no.
You
see, even that. Don't say in a year. Don't force words under my throat.
The government
I never spoke to any timeline. I am talking on the modalities.
Okay.
And Kumado just mentioned it.
I'm talking about
the minister himself is speaking to the disappointment.
That is fine.
Of these people. And I am telling you, Beatrice, that whether 10 years, 8 years, 5 years, the takeoff has been deceitful. Because you knew, even if we are just speaking within the 1 year frame, you knew that you didn't have the capacity to recruit over 100,000. Why did you allow them to apply?
Yes.
You saw them paying monies when you knew how many you could recruit. Why not say, okay, let's just do this number, let's work with this number, so that the rest that would have used their money to apply wouldn't come. Now, the over 100 million, is the ministry willing to come and tell us, just like the minister did yesterday, how and what that money will be used for?
So
secondly, I want to tell you something.
I haven't finished.
NDC, I know you haven't finished, and you've given me the opportunity to also make my point. So I'm making my point. I want to take you to chapter 6 of the NDC manifesto. And when you look at 6.4, that's 6.4, there are about 14 points beneath 6.4. And all these 14 points are directing towards, or are just geared towards, doing what? Reforming the security service. Now, I get partly why some people are reacting the way they are doing. You know why? Because the same NDC that told us, and the heading is what? Public safety and security. That is 6.4 if you have it with you. And it is so clear that the NDC was so sure about what they wanted to do with the security service. When you look at the points beneath, I won't stretch you so much because you are too eager to go to the next point. I want you to look at the point 7. That says what? Embark on public awareness campaign to educate citizens about online safety and cyber security best practices. Now, this whole thing is about the online and cyber security and all that. When the whole practice, the processes started, we first of all heard of allegations. I'm bringing it to a point. We heard of allegations and red flags raised by the, the leader, the minority leader, Afenyo Martins in Parliament, telling us that there is something going on in the security service.
I'm not sure you can refer to a statement that has been withdrawn.
He said, no, he didn't withdraw that. He raised the red flag. He raised the red flag. I'm coming. He raised a red flag. And even if you want to tell me, let's retract it because he apologized, I'll still tell you that this same process that we all are crying with hasn't been transparent. And I am again telling you, look, the same NDC in their promise told us that they were going to decentralize this security recruitment process. It's still in the manifesto. And by that, they said they were going to send teams to each of the 16 regions across.
Now let me come in with a question I wanted to ask you. You made a point about promise. And so the understanding is that it's not restricted just to the recruitment within the security service.
And I wanted... That's why I took you specifically to the
That's fine. I wanted to draw your attention to the fact that when you said deceptive, the government has been deceptive, I talked about the fact that this is a government that has been in power for 1 year. I wasn't saying that you said 1 year. So I wanted to make that point clear. And again, I was saying that the government, based on what the Interior Minister said, talked about the challenges or the current situation of the country. And I was going to go back to the fact that you're saying the government has been deceptive.
You need clarity on that.
Wait, hold on.
They told us. Let me
Madam,
help you.
Let me help you. I will have to wait. I think that I have to make my point, and then you can come in. And I'm saying that this is a government that came in and met an unemployment rate of over 13%. If you look at the breakdown of the unemployment rate as at the last quarter of 2024, the ages of 15 to 24, they had about 32% to 34% of people who were not employed. And again, you're talking about a government that had 8 years to also transform the employment situation of the country. You had one district, one factory, you had Planting for Food and Jobs, Nation Builders Corps, National Alternative Employment and Livelihood Programs, a whole lot of programs that you had within 8 years. And that is why I asked you the question earlier. Although you didn't mention 1 year, what the point I was making was that you're saying the government has been deceptive, and this government has been in power for 1 year, and you had 8 years, and yet you left an employment rate of over 13%.
Beatrice,
unemployment
I
rate.
get you. One, the NDC gave us a clear word and impression that, look, we are resetting. And resetting simply means, and I do go back to my first word, look,
you can respond briefly.
I do agree with my point that, look, the NDC told us they know how to do it better. They told Ghanaians that these guys are not really doing their thing. My sister Gabi here, I've sat with her on several platforms, telling us that, look, Rabbi, you guys should shut up. We will come and teach you how to do it. So if you say, like, look, we are coming to reset, we are coming to do everything very well, unlike you people, and today you are not doing it with your own sympathizers telling you we are disappointed in you, then I find it deceptive. Two, let me tell you, in 2017, 2018 alone, youth in agriculture, did you hear about forestry? You heard that forestry. The youth model that the Forestry Commission was implementing. Only this period alone, about 26,500 young people were already recruited and were already on the field planting trees, taking care of our green Ghana and all that they were doing with the Forestry Commission. What I am telling you is that if you told me that you were coming to do better and your better from onset is not giving me the impression that you do better, I would say I find you deceptive. We admitted. We came to say, look, NDC say they can. Ghanaians have listened to them. We agree. We have conceived defeat. We even went on, including myself, on this particular station, telling the entirety of Ghana that, look, we didn't get everything right. We are sorry for all that we did. But trust you, we did so many things that nature and time will tell. So what I am telling you this morning is that if I say they have been deceptive, they have been deceptive, and I'm judging that from their onset.
From their onset. Please, very briefly, and because Madam Imoro hasn't spoken.
A lot of gibberish with very little facts. Beatrice, number one, we were in this country when security recruitment were done at the blind side of the citizens of this country. We were here, please. We were here when people were selling recruitment for 20,000 Ghana cedis. Every person who has attempted to sell recruitment under this current regime has been arrested. We were here in this country. On average, the security services take about 10,000 people in annually. We have told you that the current situation that the government found itself in when we took office has forced us to limit the number of jobs we can create. One thing you have heard across all, please. One thing you have heard across all the sectors is the one word which, as much as it annoys with the party people, we understand it because of the state of the government that we've brought into power. It's clearance. So many of the agencies are unable to employ because of issues of clearance, and it all boils down back to government budgets and what governments can make allocation for. Of what use is recruitment into employment opportunities where the people, you cannot even pay them, and before you know, the next thing that is on government's hand is strike and disruption of public services. Who wants that on their heads? So government says, under the current circumstances, we can only do 5,000. We accept. We are not happy about it, but we understand the situation that government finds itself. 5 of my people were on this list. All of them disqualified. These are people who worked for party and for me, including even the guy who does my graphics for me. He went on strike at one point because he thought I wasn't pushing for him. And how could I push for him? The whole thing is on an IT system. You said we should, if we know that we're taking 5,000 people, we should have limited the number of people to employ to 10,000. The best approach is what government did.
You don't think that was a valid point she made?
No. You know why? Because now the 500,000 has shown us that the problem that we are faced is bigger than if we had allowed 10,000. And it's better you face that monster head on and try and fix that monster than to lie to yourself that we allowed 10,000 people to apply. Now, let's do something.
Before the NDC won power, you knew that the country had issues with unemployment.
Exactly.
Did you need this to see
exactly.
the numbers?
And I'm telling you that since I came to Sicha this morning, I've told you the various initiatives that we are deploying. I just was chatting with Eric KJ on how many his departments have been able to train under their educational program. The target was that they trained 10,000, and now from next week they are going to start the grants allocation to 2,000 entrepreneurs. So at least from his side, they are doing something. I've told you about, if for nothing at all, the list that I know is in Gomwa Central, because that is the region where I come from. I've told you about the equipment that are being supplied and the National Apprenticeship Program. I've texted Osman. I'm waiting for Osman's reply so I can give you the data. Now, you are in this country. You are telling us that in our manifesto, we said we were going to reset. Yes, this is the reset. The reset was a new centralized system that did not have any human interference. That is why me as a party executive, even though I am fuming inside, I have no choice than to accept the fact that my people did not make it.
But it's also a fact what Madam Salifu said, that a number of the NDC people are aggrieved. We've seen the chairman of the party
our people didn't make it.
Saying
but that is the centralized system. That is the centralized system that was created. There was no human intervention. We could not get anybody to pass our people through. And so we'll go and take our grievances to the government and we'll complain to government. That is behind the scenes. When we go inside, we'll go and fight our fight inside. But now we are not happy. But what can we do? It's our government that is in power. And our government says that this is what we can do. But we will not allow that data to just go off, and then so the remaining data, we are keeping that data, and the next window of opportunity that comes, we are giving these people the opportunity. Again, there are still other, I was also to the insurance minister yesterday, and there are still other initiatives that he said they can roll on. This community police, under the YEA program that Malik has been showing in their own special uniform, they are going to increase the numbers in those areas. So all these other young people will still have avenues to get into some form of security employment, because that is where their interest is.
She talked about how much money the government made, for instance, through the numbers of people.
Yes, it's good you reminded me on that issue. I'm going to add my voice to those who want those monies to be refunded. Because I think that it is unfair to charge unemployed people and benefit from them at a time when your priority is to create jobs. The least you can do for them is to refund their monies back to them. So I think that those who did not make it, government, you have their data, bulk SMS their monies back to them.
Madam Ayana, you haven't spoken on this at all. Please, you have the floor.
Well, I'd like to say good morning. Good morning to our church viewers and to Ghanaians. Quite an interesting discussion we are having here. It all has to do with employment and our youth. And for me, I will always put it at the doorsteps of our educational system. We have an educational system that I would always say is a system that is actually a weapon of mass destruction. If I am to look at what happened yesterday from the Interior Minister's pronouncements, and I know the disappointment, I know that feeling. But then at the end of it all, we all have to ask ourselves, why is it that we have such huge numbers just looking for security agencies? Every young person wants to go into one security agency or the other. So it's become, government has to provide jobs. Government has to create jobs. Government has to make sure that people get jobs. Is that the right way to go? I'm just asking. Because for us to have an educational system that can take someone, for someone to say, I am a graduate, and then for that person to be sitting down, maybe sitting at home for 5, 10 years, waiting on government to give that person employment, is that education? What kind of education are we giving to our young people? This is where the problem is. It is not a question of how many people are going into the services, how many should have been given the authority to apply. It's a question of what are our young people being taught in our schools? What tools are we giving them to face the world? So should it be that everyone coming out of school now should be dependent on government for a job? That is not the way to go. So I think that if you are to go back and look at things that have happened, the NPP prides itself with always being the political party that brings what you call social interventions. And the social interventions within the last 8 or so or 9 years that the NPP government brought is so huge. We shouldn't even have had to be talking about a lot more people being unemployed. Because if you look at a situation, I'm just looking at the Youth Employment Agency. We have NAPCO. NAPCO alone was such a big program of about what? Ghana Cares, that's what after COVID-19. So within 5 years, no, let's say from 7 years, about that, or something like that, we're looking at a situation where our country has young people looking for jobs, when about 100 billion, allegedly, was spent on NAPCO alone. So what jobs were we creating for the millions of young people around?
So it was inaugurated on the 1st of May 2018.
2018. So after that, money was voted for young people to create jobs, to kind of like build up people. What happened? We had national alternative employment and livelihood program that was to take charge of Galamsey, youth in Galamsey, those who were there. We had the district road improvement, which came later on. We had so many programs, very laudable programs, social intervention programs from the MPP, but we got nothing for it.
Nothing.
Yes, we got nothing because if something came out, we wouldn't be having such huge numbers. We didn't get anything.
I think the main problem with NAPCO was that they didn't seem to have a continuation plan.
One district, one factory. How many factories were built? Then later we are told that it was not supposed to have been factories built, but factories were supposed to have been helped. So one district, one factory, one village, one dam, one whatever. At the end of it, what did we get? All the monies that we spent on these social intervention programs, we should have been seeing some progress in our employment situation. But all I'm saying is, these are young people who are looking for jobs. Situations have been, we had avenues that had been created to give them those jobs. And still, we are where we are. So at the end of it, you ask yourself, why didn't we just decide to open up or roll out a dole system like the UK? Instead of putting the money there and not getting anything, we should have just put the money there, maybe used it to buy some bonds or something, and then young people would enroll and then go there and every month collect some money and go home until they get a job. Maybe that is what we should have done with the money. Because at the end of the day, we had so many things, so many interventions, but still young people are asking for jobs. But the thing is this, we have to reform our educational system. We cannot continue to be doing the same things and expect that it will get better. Everybody who is doing business administration, and you ask, you're doing business administration. In developed worlds, people do business administration to come out and do business for themselves. We do business administration, human resource option, business administration, accounts option, and we are looking for government to issue jobs for us. Where are the jobs? How many human resource personnel can a ministry take? How many accounting personnel can a ministry take? All these things just boil down to the fact that we are not putting the right things in place. Even if you look at the colonial system, you even come back to Kwame Nkrumah's regime. We inherited the middle school system. When you came out of middle school, you could do a job. When you came out of middle school, you could at least create something for yourself. Even when we got to the ordinary level system, Uncle Eno came out of just a system that taught her how to make marmalade. And she started making marmalade, and that's become a household word. Today, we have people with doctorate in this, professor in this, and yet we are suffering. There is something wrong with our educational system. There is something that we are not actually encouraging the youth on. Our youth are looking down on jobs. You come out and nobody, I think we should start giving them fancy names. You know, when I was in school, our carpentry master said it's wood technology. We don't say carpentry anymore. We should say wood technology. You understand? We should give fancy names, because maybe with the fancy names, our young people would be willing to do that. How about agriculture? Maybe government should go out there and acquire more lands, you know, service them and give them out to young people to do some agricultural work.
But it doesn't it go down to, I mean, aside from the fancy names, it also talks about how secure these jobs are. Again, I earlier referred to data from the Ghana Statistical Service, and one of the areas where it said job was insecure was in agriculture. 95% of people involved didn't feel secure.
Well, it's because maybe the way we are looking at it, maybe the way we do our agriculture is what, because if you're going to have agriculture as a business, you must be looking at least looking at the processing aspect of it, the marketing aspect of it, and all that goes with it. It's not just going to take your hoe and go and, like what we are experiencing now, where there's a glut of local rice. You understand? They have not probably done enough market survey. And I told myself, I said, you know what? I don't understand how we can even have a glut in local rice. If I were them, you know, we would decide as a group not to plant so much and then create a shortage and get good prices for our products. You understand? If I were them, because at the end of it, you are producing so much and still it's not being sold, and you are expecting government to buy, to do what with it? So government says senior high schools must buy from local farmers, but then how much can the senior high schools take from the local farmers? You understand? But all these aside, if I get back again to the security agencies, I get very worried. I get very worried because it takes a different kind of person to be a security personnel. It's not just anybody on the streets. That is why we have certain qualifications and characteristics. And I listened to the minister and he says, look, even the ones that we've had, we have people who have mental issues, people who have drug issues. You get me? And we are in a country where of late we find our youth doing so many things that is not right, and we are even afraid to confront them.
As in the use of opioids?
As in exactly. Do you understand? At the end of it, you're looking at our youth. They said no tattoos for military. Young people like tattoos. So if you go and do tattoos and you want to get into the army or some security agency and they are not taking you, whose fault is it? Or if you decide to bleach and they are not taking people with stretch marks and bleaching, whose fault is it? These are things that we have caused for ourselves. So we have to be able to also talk to the young people to also make them responsible for themselves, for their actions. Because you cannot do certain things and expect that because so I have to get the job. No, you must qualify for the job. It's very important that you qualify for the job. And at the end of it all, it is not a question. I would like for Ghanaians to know that recruitment into the security services is not partisan. It is not supposed to be partisan.
Well, we've politicized
Yeah, we've politicized it, but it's not supposed to be. I mean, these are people who are going to work for the state. It's not for any political party. So why should it be like somebody feeling that we are going to favor this? I'm so glad, Gabriela Teta was saying that even hers, people that she had even sponsored couldn't make it. It just goes to show you that the thing is a transparent deal. And that's how it's supposed to be. So at the end of it all, I think that we should not politicize all these issues. We should look at it as a national problem. We have young people out there who do not have jobs, and we need to make available jobs. How do we go about it?
How do we go about it, Madam Salifo? And if you could touch a bit on the education and perhaps the way forward, very briefly, and I'll get a final thought of Madam Gabriela Teta as well on this.
Before I even touch on the education, what I want to say is that if you call out somebody on inaccurate facts, you should be willing to provide the accurate facts. You call it gibberish, you call it inaccurate, no counter. You haven't been able to pull out which part of my submission that was incorrect. And you know what? Since the president got fact-checked by a whole My Joy Online with other Ghanaians on figures concerning jobs in this country, I have never taken for granted whatever fact I am putting out. Because if His Excellency John Mahama can be fact-checked as the President of the Republic, why will anybody take the risk?
That's what we're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, of course. So why would any communicator like myself take the risk of also coming to lie like he did? I wouldn't do that. And whatever figure I mention here, I make sure I cross-check that. Now on NAPCO, the over 100,000, you told me not to speak when you are talking.
Go ahead.
The over 100,000 young people who benefited, who got internship, who got training, who came out to testify, are still grateful to the government of Akufo-Addo. We should always be fair to say, yes, you did, but you didn't do enough. That one, everyone will take it. Because even till tomorrow, no government or no leader in this world will be able to come and say, I am addressing all the challenges or I'm fulfilling all my manifesto promises. So what I am telling you is that if work was done, if you felt dissatisfied, fair enough, you can talk about your expectation and not meeting your expectation, what you expected to have been done or the numbers you expected to have been covered, than to just sit on national television, look Ghanaians in the face and tell them nothing was done for youth in this country by Akufo-Addo government. So that is also okay. I want to as well tell you, as part of the nothing.
When you say that,
Beatrice.
No, it's just for clarification.
I don't have a problem.
Please, I will come to you. I will come to you. Please, I will come to you. I want her to make her point. Madam, yes, I'm just getting clarification. When you say
93,000, we have already passed that debate.
So when you say,
if you said 100, you come to say 93. It's coming from the NDC.
So when you say, yes, when you say
but
that,
what I'm telling you is
just for clarification, when you say that and the government couldn't do all, you mean the bit where the NAPCO
I didn't even tell you couldn't do all. If you feel the government didn't do enough per your expectation, that's what you should be speaking to.
Yes.
So I won't let you even go. You are misquoting me. So I am saying if any communicator feels that the government didn't do enough as they expected or she expected, she should be fair enough to say, well, I expected this to have been done. Okay. But you don't look us in the face and say we did nothing. On security, I want to quickly take you this, and you can fact check that. We are in the era of fact checking and all that. Over 700 vehicles on mobility alone for Ghana Police Service. 4 helicopters were given to what? The same Ghana Police Service. You saw the number of motorbike, visibility of police. The only time we could feel Ghana police well-dressed, fully armed, well-resourced was under President Akufo-Addo's government. Over 4,000 motorbikes were given to them. You can fact-check that as well. Also, housing units. You saw that at the police training school. Over 320 housing units. All these things we did for the security service, even the recruitment Gabriela spoke about. I haven't seen anybody handcuffed. I haven't seen the aura going to expose or even hold anybody with evidence that, Rabbi, you went to sell security slots at 20,000. Hence, this is the evidence we've gotten you. And the law of natural justice will tell you, until you are able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, you can't just come and sit and say somebody sold NAPCO slots. Who sold the NAPCO slots?
Okay,
so who do you have to show that the person sold?
Fact check me.
Look, please. I don't know why they can't sit when I'm talking. When I was
just
talking,
hold on.
when she was talking, you told me to hold on.
I want you to. No, I'm just telling her to hold on because I want you to land on your point.
So I want her to relax. What I am saying is that, as for fact check or not fact check,
but you were here saying
we are saying if you did call it a lie, you fact check. I fact check. You're fact checking. Then we share the facts because we all do have access to finding information and sourcing it. Finally, on my point. Finally, on my point. My take on the whole process is that, look, I am with the people who believe that, look, we should depoliticize this whole process. And you see today that we all are now talking about online and people are not able to do. Yes, I will again give it to the security service that, look, it's good they have continued with the online recruitment process so that the reduction of theft, the corruption, the sale of slots would not happen, which we all want as a country. 2, I'll go back to my initial point that, look, if you have a quota of about 10,000 or 5,000, please be realistic with the numbers you want to throw out. If you find out that the young people who are applying using their money. Don't let them get to a point of where you'll be thinking about refund, or Ghanaians will be calling for refund before you think about what you would do. And lastly, we should look at public informal sector development. How are we incentivizing businesses? What are we doing? 24-hour economy was supposed to be a very good model. We have applauded it. And what we are saying is that they should leave the bureaucracy or the bookage or the processes that is ongoing, which is equally important. Now it's over 1 year. The young people of Ghana whom we couldn't finish helping are still waiting to get them do what they said they would do for them. And with the jobs that are supposed to be created, we can't wait to have them because they are always giving us reassurance that those jobs will be created. We are ready to collaborate. We are ready to pinpoint what is not done right, and we are able to speak to issues when they are not done right.
When they are not done right. Let me just read 2 messages and I'll let you come in, ma'am. Master Planner Junior, Policy Analyst Kintampo says, great submission by my sister Rabi. Our security service has now become an avenue for youth traumatization and harassment. But there's also a message from Mr. Stephen Payne, I believe, who says, Beatrice, Hajar Abatu Rabiatu doesn't deserve to speak on unemployment and particularly the recruitment process into security services. The MPP in the 8 years was recruiting every 6 months, and it was for their foot soldiers.
So we expect better from
you
them.
have the point, the floor.
So in their submission, she makes reference to the fact that we no longer want to see security slots sold. Please, an admission that security slots were indeed sold. Now, I said fact check me on NAPCO. NAPCO was to create employment for 100,000 graduate youth.
Yes.
At the end of the day, which was going to cost the taxpayer 1 billion Ghana cedis every month, 12 billion Ghana cedis in a year, 48 billion Ghana cedis in 4 years. Now, in that 4 years, with that 48 billion taxpayer burden, they could only end up recruiting 33,000 in formal employment. They put them,
come and say,
fact check it. Fact check it. Majority of them were taken into customs. So for well over 7 years, we're not doing customs recruitment. Now, the remaining 77,000 were thrown back into unemployment, please. The remaining 77,000.
Okay, so these are the figures. 34,000 to over 49,000 were the ones who secured places within NAPCO. And out of that, they said that there were also long-term delays in receiving their monthly stipends. Government
of Ghana still owes NAPCO beneficiaries. Up to date, government of Ghana still owes NAPCO beneficiaries. And that they left.
Okay, if you could wrap up your point, and then I'll come to Madam Ayana.
So your 100,000 NAPCO, it was
just confirmed it. Retain. You see, you're not looking at the issues the way I am seeing
you
them.
Promised
so
100,000.
You have recruited them. You have trained them.
In fact, let me tell you, the reason why I really managed to understand this thing that goes. Their president interestingly was in Central Region. And up to date, he's still chasing government of Ghana for back pay.
Well, he's not going to work for the area. I'm sorry.
It's retained.
Please,
it's retained.
Madam Ayana.
He's not working for the area.
No. He's part of the election. Yes.
In 2016,
yes.
The reason why the Nana Addo government came into power was because they gave us a fine list of social intervention projects that were going to go around all the districts.
Just to interrupt you, so I was just telling Madam Gabriela Tete that former President Akufo-Addo is to lead AU election observation mission to Congo.
To Congo.
Yes.
Hope he doesn't go and sleep.
Please make your point.
Okay. Sorry. All right. So I was just saying that in the 2016 elections, Ghanaians voted for the MPP based on the fact that they were going to come and create a lot of jobs, district by district. In fact, we saw some kind of a graph roaming around in the social media. Everybody bought into it. And then when they did come, we saw also that they started things like one district, one factory, one district, one warehouse, and we were all looking forward to it. But for the 8 years that they were there, if they had gone through with what they had promised us, I don't think that we'll be singing the same story now. because those particular social interventions were such that they could have created a lot of jobs that would be continuous, not just stopgap jobs. But we didn't get it. So if we're going to talk about unemployment, I don't think that the NPP should be talking about it.
They are the last people.
Because at the end of the day, they actually disappointed us. And we are hoping that the NDC, with their 24-hour economy and the fact that they've also promised to make job creation a priority, we will be seeing some differences. But I want to disagree with this issue of if the security agencies felt that they needed just 5,000, they didn't have to open up for so many people. How would you get the best if you just limit it to a certain number? How do you expect to get the best?
Please let him make
you
your
understand?
point.
Because
Please let him make
and
your
then
point.
apart from that, who is good? You know, can you just imagine what would have happened if you went to buy and you were told that, oh, we just want this and this is the number? I don't think Ghanaians would have taken it kindly at all, the young people, because then it would have been like some people were favored. We would have heard stories like only NDC people were given the opportunity to do that. But that's how come it was opened. So the 500 or 1,000 or so that went, it was a good thing for us to get the best that there is in the system. It's not a question of just a few people. So I still stand by the fact that if we still need 200, we can still open and let 10,000 apply.
But would you agree with what Madam Gabriela Tete said, that for those whose monies were taken and eventually they are not going to be taken, government should reimburse them?
I have my problem with that as well. We all go to the British High Commission. When we are not giving visas, we don't go back for our money.
All right, thank you very much. We'll end it here. Madam Rodelini Morayana, public interest advocate. Also, Madam Gabriela Tete, NDC Central Regional Communications Officer. Of course, we've had as well Madam Rabi, Salifu, Deputy Director of Communications for the NPP. Yes, we couldn't do the others, the other topic. We do apologize for that. And then we also had Mr. Richard Kumado, who is security consultant. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for this conversation. And I want to say a big thank you as well to Chic by Siba in East Legon on the Baoleshi Road for my costume this morning. Thank you very much. Well, Big Issue is also sponsored by University of Gold Coast. Whether you're aiming for a specialist MBA in marketing, communication, operations, supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, or business intelligence analytics, or you want to advance through dual MBA or chartered manager MBA, University of Gold Coast UGC gives you options that match your vision. And if your next step is an MSc in international relations, communication, international marketing, international law, security, diplomacy, accounting, finance, or human resource management, an LLM in international law, security, diplomacy, or an MA in biblical studies, practical theology, the pathway is open. April admission is now open. Apply today, because at the University of Gold Coast, we make it practical, flexible learning, flexible entry, and flexible payment. Study around your work and life. Choose a route that fit your background and pay in convenient installment. Your dream deserves structure. Yes, your future deserves strategy. Your purpose deserves training. Apply now, www.ugc.edu.gh, or you can call or WhatsApp now on 026-388-8555. University of Gold Coast, building leaders for the nations. And my name is Beatrice Edu. Thank you very much for joining us on The Big Issue once again. You're still here on Newday on TV3. When we come back, we'll bring you sport and some more. Do stay.
For school? Yes! My champs, they use a lot of energy at school. I know, because imagine the energy they may have used up to return home this transformed every day.
Your champs need nourishment and energy. Give them the Milo Energy at breakfast, now with vitamin D that supports energy release to help their daily performance. Milo, energy to go further. This advert is FDA approved.
Watching DSTV means getting the TV you love, but staying connected means getting something extra.
Stunning.
Extra matches, extra dramas, the best local and the world's biggest. Extra laughter, music, movies, and extra vim.
I love it.
Just stay connected or reconnect and get upgraded to the next higher package at no extra cost. Charlie, we got you. Keep watching. Get more with DSTV.
Life can be giving it to you with like that. And everything around you will be affected big time. Too many uncertainties and fears. But with the right partner like Empo Life Insurance Ghana, you are sorted. Say kutu, say bam. You get the best healthcare, solid pensions trust policies, and the peace of mind to grow your business and focus on what truly matters. Empo Insurance, empowering people.
Master, I have told you to use Kojak quality oral care products like the Kojak charcoal toothpaste for strong teeth. Give me the meat.
Sis, that guy. Ajay, my teeth. Sis, haven't you heard of Kojak P&F toothpaste and their mouthwash? Right after here, get one for yourself. It helps fight sensitive teeth just like you're experiencing. Hey, sis.
Yes, do not joke with your teeth, cause it may worry you in the future. We are here to introduce you to our quality Kojak oral care products, such as Kojak charcoal toothpaste that makes your teeth whiter and stronger. Kojak regular fluoride toothpaste makes your teeth stronger, fights against toothaches, and lathers well, leaving your mouth with an improved fresh taste and breath. If you have a sensitive teeth, when you take in something cold or hot, yours is to go for Kojak P&F together with the mouthwash. Go for Kojak oral care products because Kojak dear, a quality keke. For retail, visit the Rancor Pharmacy, a Kojak Pharmacy branch at American House, East Legon, near the UBA Bank. Also available in all leading pharmacies, over-the-counter stores, provision shops, and supermarkets. This advert is FDA approved.
It's time to explore Ghana again. From 19th to 22nd March, join the Ghana Month Expedition. 3 regions, 4 days. Eastern, Ashanti, Central. We kick it off in Eastern region. Chocolate experiences, fresh farm fruits, Safari Valley lunch with zebras and exotic animals, Bonsu Eco Park for canopy walks and ziplining, and then party at the Rock City Hotel. Ashanti takes over. Bonre Kente Museum, Kumasi Museum, Komfornochi Source Site, Lake Bosumtri for hiking adventures and sleepover at Rich Condos. Central brings the history at Singmanso, Cape Coast Castle, plus lunch by the coast, then a Crown Resort vacation, quad biking, horse riding, water adventures. All this for 6,500 Ghana Cedi single, 5,500 Ghana Cedi shared rooms, and 10,500 Ghana Cedis couple. You're interested, right? Call now 0531 100927 or 0247 120 633. Ghana Month Expedition, 19th to 22nd March. Don't just watch Ghana, experience it.
Sponsored by Nero Prime Water.
Got that weekend football feeling? That anticipation? We've got you covered.
From player spotlight to head-to-head starts, our panel will break down the key battles and the players who will decide the matches.
The fans are the heart of the game, so get interactive with us on our socials.
Review and a review.
Catch me up, Alexis Laura, every Tuesday on the GPL Review Show.
And myself, Butala, every Thursday on the GPL Build Up.
If you're looking to listen to thought-provoking conversations,
to avoid any further brouhaha, all this English to just say, I will do nothing.
I will ghost him.
So like what is it? Be like
I'm certainly not feeling too well.
Answers to life's big questions.
Has someone asked you to do kapoha before? I don't drink.
you go to church and pray for miracles.
But that's somebody's money. The owner is going to come.
For a show filled with excitement, laughter, and unforgettable moments.
Me, I live life full of drama to the left, to the right. If you see me, look this side,
to games that keep you laughing.
What in the name of Peppa Pig is going on here?
Just as tonight is the place to be, where the fun never stops.
Just as Tonight now shows on Saturdays at 8 p.m. on TV3.
왜 그렇게 예민한데?
지금 예민한 건 너잖아. 내가 그런 말도 못해?
그런 말 안 하는 게 우리 방식 아니야?
They say love always finds a way. But what if love is lost before it's found?
나 우리 시간 좀 갖자.
In a world full of chances, will love survive?
우리 원래 연애를 할 때는 상대방 취향도 존중해주고 그래야 됩니다.
The story of missed moments, broken hearts, and one last chance at love.
너 그 20살 때 만난 아저씨가 너무 그런 거 아니야.
Not Found Love, showing on TV3 Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 4 p.m.
Let's go.
Accra, are you ready? It's time for yet another Gobe Festival. On Saturday, March 28th, the Legon City Mall turns into the home of the food of the gods, Gobe Festival. Look, plenty food festivals there, but none be like Gobe Fest, because Gobe no be just food, it's a movement, a cult following, real lovers from every walk of life, corporate workers, bosses, celebs, campus crew, everybody pulling up for one mission, proper Gobe. And it's not just one pot, it's the best Gobe vendors from the capital and beyond. 7 back-to-back hit, hot, loaded, and unforgettable. But that's not all. There will be non-stop music, games, mad fun, and one big explosion of joy. So gather your people, come hungry, come loud. Gobe Festival, Saturday, March 28th, Legon City Mall, 10 a.m. You don't just eat it, you experience it.
The Global Peace Christian Center, GPCC, welcomes you to a life-changing experience as you listen to God's anointed servant, Pastor Henry Ampoma Boatin, the head pastor of Global Peace Christian Center, as he teaches you God's word that will change you, challenge you to a deeper obedience, build up your faith, and bring you closer to God.
This is Pastor Henry Ampoma Boatin of Global Peace Christian Center. Keep on watching Treasures Beyond Measure on TV3 every Saturday morning from 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. and your life shall never be the same again. God bless you.
Treasures Beyond Measure with Pastor Henry Ampoma Boatin.
Treasures Beyond Measure shows every Saturday 6 a.m. only on TV3.
It's little wonder that it's Throwback Thursday.
Yeah.
I loved that song.
That song was top.
Yeah,
even for me as a kid.
It still sounds great.
Yeah. But you look, nice outfit.
Billy Shen.
Charlie, the thing on the side, Charlie. Hey, Beatrice. Where is this one from?
You decided to come for me today.
Where is this one from?
This is from Chic by Siba in East Legon.
You see, Chic. Wow. see the name Chic. Hey.
By Siba.
Oh, boy life.
Men can't wasem.
Oh, boy life.
Men can't wasem. So I started with you and decided to bring it on air. I don't mind it. Those who didn't see me dealing with Bio, he's decided to bring it here. He's turned to the table. What's up?
Good.
When I saw you, the only person that came to mind was Semenyo.
Yes.
And unfortunately, he didn't have a good time last night.
Yeah, it was his debut in the UEFA Champions League. It was on a very big stage at the Bernabeu.
Was he nervous?
Maybe there were nerves, but I think it translated.
Yeah, making a lot of being shouting about him.
Yeah,
scoring.
Mixed feelings.
Yes.
Yeah, mixed feelings. I mean, going to this grandest ever outing in the UEFA Champions League.
I think overall we know we didn't play well today, and we want to go into Tuesday and change that, so we just have to wait till then. Put my finger on it. I mean, they're very good on transition, and there was a couple of spaces in the middle of the park and they exploited that, so we'll just go back to the drawing board and make sure we nullify that. We had our spells where we attacked really well, so hopefully in the home leg we can take our chances.
How do you pick yourself up for it and go again in that second leg now?
I think as a team we're always going to be positive through good, through bad, so we've got a game on Saturday, have to focus on that, and then Tuesday rectify.
Your first experience in the Champions League as well?
First experience, it was a good one. For me personally, obviously what I've gone through in my journey, but obviously not the best result.
As a team, do you learn from experiences like this, and can it make you stronger as well moving forward?
Yeah, 100%. I think it just brings us down to earth. Essentially, they're a good team, and if you give them a chance, they'll take it. So again, we just go back to the drawing board, do what we need to do, and then hopefully Tuesday we can change it all.
The fact that he was still smiling, irrespective of the defeat.
Yeah.
But I do hope it wasn't his demeanor that influenced the entire team and the eventual performance.
I think the team itself were just not good on the day.
Yeah.
There were questions on the tactics of Pep Guardiola, on the performance of the personnel. I think Semenyo is just a tiny piece to whatever happened within the team.
Yeah, but there's another thing, a different development.
Yes, ahead of the World Cup, it's quite unfortunate with the whole tensions that has been happening in the Middle East. Iran, their sports minister Ahmad has said that they will not play the World Cup because of what has been happening with regards to the conflict. Remember that their supreme leader has, of course, been taken out, and so because of that, they will not be. I mean, the sports minister has stated categorically that they don't want to participate in the World Cup despite qualifying, which is a very big blow to the whole World Cup feeling, World Cup vibe. Yeah, you don't want to see something like this happening, before main tournaments like this. So it's a very big blow.
Yes, but still on this, and perhaps going to the European games, Chelsea, there was something that happened with Chelsea.
Yeah, they lost 5-2 to PSG. Their goalkeeper didn't perform particularly well. PSG, very, very good on the day. Even though they scored, Chelsea scored, Chelsea scored. And then we do have Bodo Glimt, who were also fantastic, beating Sporting CP by 3-0. So as it stands, PSG, Bodo Glimt, Real Madrid have an advantage going into the second leg.
How do you pronounce the first one?
Which one? Leverkusen?
Leverkusen.
Yeah,
yes.
That's in Germany.
Yeah, I'm not excited that it was a draw, but
Why?
we'll take it like that.
I think it's fair. I mean, Leverkusen are a good side. So Arsenal getting a draw away, it's good. I mean, they have the advantage at home.
I mean, now all those who are dismissing us now, I'm sure by now they've repented. Anyway,
Arsenal are still gunning for the lead.
Tell us what's happening in the world of tennis.
In the Indian Wells, Novak Djokovic, 24-time Grand Slam winner. Unfortunately, he lost from him.
Yeah, but we've got some highlights from the UEFA Champions League. Let's watch that.
Guitar. Diaz looks for the Valverde on a hat-trick. Brilliant! Oh my goodness me!
It's been plain sailing in the Champions League up until now for Arsenal, who finally... Havertz, and a look of relief on the face of Kai Havertz as much as anything.
To come up with a rescue package.
Yeah, so the highlights for you. Always interesting watching live games, right?
Yeah.
Yes. What else we need to know?
Of course, we are building up to the World Cup. We have 91 days to the start of the 2026 World Cup. And of course, we'll be providing you a lot more updates on a daily basis as we build up to the competition. So do check our social media handles at 3sportsgh and also on the website at www.3news.com/sports.
Oh, thank you very much, Debile Shan, for bringing us the latest in sports.
Yes, Madam Chic.
Basiba. When we come back, we'll bring you some more. Do stay with us.
In Ghana, we don't just watch athletics, we feel it. From inter-house heats to international meets, the speed, the grit, the leaps, the photo finishes, broken records, the moments that steal your breath and make strangers hug like family. This May, Africa's biggest athletes will converge in Accra for the 2026 African Athletics Championships, and every single moment will be live on TV3. Don't just hear the roar, be inside it. 3 Sports, TV3, first in news, best in entertainment.
TV3 Talented Kids is back again!
Even bigger and better, we're unveiling a brand new lineup of contestants with exciting, diverse and mind-blowing abilities from across the country.
For the contestants, Talented Kids is more than a competition. This is a journey of self-discovery, building confidence, resilience, and a platform to grow from young, talented children into tomorrow's professional icons.
Dial *713 *13# or download the MG Reality app to vote for your favorite contestant.
Talented Kids, free to play.
Talented Kids Season 17 shows Sunday at 5 p.m. on TV3. Powered by Indomie. Tastes great.
Sponsored by Flora Tissues, Top Choco,
Gino Jollof Mix,
Didi Shito,
Fratelli Calipo,
Nero Prime Water,
Coco Plus, CTIW Foundation.
Talk because I already know everything now.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
I think that it's better that you talk to me because otherwise I'm going to call the police.
Malu,
and you know
it was Amora. She forced me to switch the results.
They grew up together, but the world tore them apart.
What did you do to Gianni?
No, don't go in there.
Murderer!
God knows that I didn't mean to kill her, but I killed Gianni!
I'm gonna kill you!
Now fate will bring them back, but not without a fight, love, betrayal, and a past that won't stay buried.
I didn't do anything, man! I didn't do anything!
You tried to kill my wife!
You're crazy, man!
Beto! What are you doing? Stop it! Are you crazy?
3 hearts, 1 destiny. Who will win when love gets tangled?
Tangled Hearts shows Monday to Thursday at 8 p.m. on TV3. Brought to you by Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Nero Prime Water. Trust in every drop.
It's more than a TV show. It's where life comes alive. A party every weekday at 1 p.m. A masterclass in living your best life. A feast for the senses. A concert right where you are. Up close and personal with your favorite celebrities. Front row fashion, no ticket required. Your crash course in style, skills and self-care. Fitness that feels like fun. 2 hours of the best experiences life has to offer. Delivered to you in the convenience of your home, workplace, school, or hangouts. Hosted by the delightful Anita Akufu and the dashing Godwin Number. The afternoon show. Fun, uplifting, unmissable. 1 p.m. Monday to Thursday, only on TV3.
I have so many culture in Ghana. So what is your culture? What is my culture? And what is our culture? Amazing how the Creator created the world. Why did He give us different identity?
And when they ask you who we are, let them know that we are the gateway to Africa.
From the shores of the Gulf of Guinea, settling at Ga, mashing in Shona, climbing those rugged but beautiful staircases and walking through the principal streets of Accra and coming all the way to the heart of TV3. We celebrate our heritage.
In the heart of Ghana's Bono East region lies one of the country's most beautiful natural treasures, the Kintampo Waterfalls. Surrounded by a large forest reserve, the falls cascade gracefully over a series of rocky steps, creating a refreshing and serene atmosphere. The Kintampo Waterfalls flows in multiple streams, forming a spectacular sight for visitors and nature lovers alike. For decades, this iconic destination has welcomed travelers from across Ghana and beyond, offering a perfect blend of adventure, relaxation, and natural beauty.
I smile too much. I'm way too hot.
Overlooking the Atlantic Ocean, Elmina Castle stands as one of Ghana's most powerful historic landmarks. Built in 1482, it became a major slave trading post where thousands were held before being sent across the Atlantic. Today, it serves as a place of remembrance, honoring the resilience of those who endured unimaginable hardship. Now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, Elmina Castle welcomes visitors from around the world, connecting history, heritage, and hope.
Mene efe gbujuno ke ha o ka wa chanye won chanye o manye ko shibana akanye du mo asefe da bibio na ne konye wa fro badjun papake hwe ni twumo ne no emi ni chulo efe adura me na yi aboa me ke nche fe nche mene ni ame akpehia bi ne ajo moko fe moko meni me alomo ame fe adam e kumi ame awo.
Now we're very grateful for such a wonderful event. The Ghana month is increasingly becoming one of the busiest on our tourism calendar. Obviously, the president has said that it doesn't matter whether you come to Ghana in January, in February, in March, or in December, you should have the same quality tourism experiences that you would.
The fact remains that our heritage is not only found in monuments and historical records, but in lived experiences. That's how we speak, how we move, how we celebrate, and how we tell our stories.
Abufra bongo no match today na menta gbe pepiri lete pepiri lo eno na edu krom fukoti a we se esia sukoto ko pata we rekpe ko fila bi damasi ko fila bi na da ofu sukoti a we se da wu ahu rekpe inyankan sense. Thank you where you are done now godi.
Or Brafo with Odaseni. Yes, Throwback Thursday. Just so here on your day on TV3. Don't forget that's the day for Ghana, or the 4-day actually, Ghana month. expedition runs from the 19th to the 22nd of March 2026, exploring 3 key regions: Eastern, Ashanti, and Central. Now, here's the itinerary lineup for you. Day 1 is Eastern region, that's 19th of March 2026 at the Cocoa Eco area. Also, there will be a tour of the chocolates demo, fruit tasting, Safari Valley, lunch, exotic animals, bird watching, nature walk, Bunso Eco Park, also canopy walk, zipline swings, Rock City Hotel, dinner party with DJ, faculty, Abiam. And then on day 2 is the Ashanti region. That is the 20th of March. Kumasi Tour, Menchia Palace, Konfanoche Sword, Bonre Kente. Also lunch at Lake Bosomtwe, Trident Resorts, zipline hiking, overnight at Ridge Condos. And then day 3, Central region. That will be on the 21st of March 2026 at Asing Manso Slave River, Cape Coast Castle, lunch on the Cape Coast dinner and live band at Rich Royal. And then day 4, Central region, happening on 22nd of March 2026. Crown Forest, there'll also be a daycation, safari, water sports, quad biking, horse riding, archery, pool games, tree planting with Forestry Commission, and then return to Accra. Tickets single for 6,500 Ghana cedis, and if you're sharing, is 5,500 Ghana cedis, and for couples, you get to pay 10,500 cedis. For all these 4 days and for all these activities, for registration, remember to call 053 1100 927 or 0247 120633. Ghana Month Expedition. Don't watch Ghana, you have to experience it. And talking about Ghana, there is going to be a Ghana Culture Week. What is all this about? Well, to help us understand this, we're joined by Mr. Beku Santana, who is Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority. He joins us via video call. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you can hear us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Beatrice, and thanks for the opportunity. Good morning to your cherished viewers, and let me commend you for the immersive itinerary that you've shared. And in fact, Media General, this year you have taken the Ghana Culture Month and the Heritage Month to another level. And this crescendo is incredible, from the launch, the setup, and the domestic tourism drive. Unbelievable. This is what we can do to change our domestic tourism market or promotion. And I give thumbs up to you guys.
Thank you so much. Once again, happy Ghana Moms to you.
Same to you, B.
Yes. Let's start off from this Ghana Culture Week. If you can tell us really what this is about.
Well, thank you once again. The Ghana Cultural Week is an initiative of Ghana Cultural Forum, which is pioneered and birthed by Mr. Akunu Dake, one of the pioneers of tourism and cultural development in Ghana. As far back as in the 80s and 90s, Mr. Akunu Dake has led the tourism promotion ideas and innovation. So the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Culture and Creative Art, Honorable Mamaga Ablajifa Gomashi, under her initiative and leadership, has partnered the Ghana Cultural Forum as a platform for the Ghana Culture Week to highlight Ghana's cultural heritage through the display of our diversity of tourism, cultural product by way of expressing it, which includes things that are related to our culture and heritage. If you remember, somewhere last year, United Nations Education, Scientific Culture Education, UNESCO, inducted or listed Ghana's intangible cultural heritage on its website, indicating that it has accepted Ghana's cultural intangible heritage like Kente and High Life. So we need such fora or forums to bring our cultural product express it, display it, and get our people to appreciate, and also provide marketing opportunities for cultural enterprises and platform for networking between cultural practitioners and consumers of cultural goods and services. So basically, it's a day, or it's a week and a platform where all cultural entrepreneurs come together to express their product. It could be the production of kente, it could be the production of fugu, it could be the production of literary works, spoken word, it could be the production of film, it could be the production of food. And we are doing this in partnership also with the Ghana Traditional Caterers Association. We are doing it with Ghana Chefs Association. We are doing it with Indigenous Caterers Association, who are also going to display our gastronomy, our culinary, our food. Ghana attained 69th independence anniversary a few days ago. The Traditional Caterers Association are going to display 69 indigenous Ghanaian cuisine.
Wow.
It may surprise you. Last year, we had the traditional caterers making or displaying a cake made with yam. We never thought we could even produce it. So our caterers are very creative. They are very innovative. So such platforms offers them opportunity to display their culinary skills. So the Ghana Cultural Week, which is an initiative of the Ghana Cultural Forum in partnership with the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, as well as the implementing agencies under the ministry like the Ghana Tourism Authority, the Folklore Board, the Creative Arts Agency, and National Theatre. In fact, this year, National Theatre is hosting. Last year, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park hosted it. So it's an opportunity to bring our culture and creative innovators as well as entrepreneurs together to display their works, and for the public to also come and sample and appreciate what is culture. Culture is our way of life. So when you come and see how now they can make a papransa, or how you mix a boy, so something similar to what you guys are also doing. But this brings policymakers, so that at the end of the day, there will be a communique, or there will be a policy document which will serve as a guideline. Since last year, as I mentioned, that the country attained that recognition from UNESCO that her life comes from Ghana and nobody can challenge it, and that kente comes from Ghana, and Cote d'Ivoire, Togo, Benin, or no other country can claim originality of kente fabric, which has been listed on UNESCO heritage site. It means that there's a lot more that we have that we need to display, showcase, challenge, and prove that it belongs to us. So such forum gives us the opportunity to meet our stakeholders.
Indeed, and you're crowning it all with the 13th and 14th of this month, some activities happening, and we have the president coming as well. Beyond what you've talked about, displaying our culture, our food, and all of that, what more should we expect as a legacy perhaps this could leave behind for future generations?
One, policy framework. Two, collaborations that are needed, and three, the legacy that we will leave behind. You see, there's a saying that a country that does not honor its heroes and heroines is not worth dying for. Let's commend Ghanaians, and let's also commend His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama for driving cultural promotion. Our president has demonstrated, has shown his love, his passion, and commitment for culture promotion. My dear sister, a few days ago, the Ghana Independence Day, the Ghana JC has shot up to an unprecedented demand since Can 2008. And I can't believe it, that it is not an occasion of football, but an occasion of our independence celebration. And all over the country, and even beyond the country where Ghanaians reside, everybody is looking for Ghana JC. If you went to the Independence Square, the Black Star Gate, even though there was not any event there, people had thronged there with their Ghana JCs, playing music, appreciating our heritage and our culture. So beyond this 2-day workshop, of displaying our culture and coming out with policy framework that would direct us how to promote our culture and heritage. We are also leaving or bequeathing a legacy to the young generation to appreciate. There's no country that does have a culture, but due to globalization, civilization, and exposure, if we don't intentionally, deliberately pass on the legacy that has been given to us to the new generation or the coming generation, we'll soon have our culture extinct. So it is an intentional, deliberate action by the ministry, an initiative of Honorable Mamaga Ablajifa Gomashi, and you know that she is a consummate cultural and tourism advocate or expert, and that is why she demonstrates so much passion, zeal, and the fire in her belly to see our tourism, especially our culture and heritage part of our tourism, being well accepted and recognized by indigents.
Indeed. And if I were an individual who plans to participate in this, either through display of food or of our traditional clothes and other cultures, how do I get to participate?
Oh, please, we invite everyone. We invite students, we invite groups, we invite associations, we invite corporate organizations, we invite every Ghanaian from the 13th, which is starting tomorrow, to Saturday. Come to the National Theatre. When you come to the National Theatre, at the forecourt, at the courtyard, at the car park, you see display of food, you see display of fabric, you see display of leather work, you see display of ceramic work, you see display of music, you see display of so many other things. That is our cultural intangible heritage that has been given to us. And again, you are going to see the display of food. Come and taste, and it's free. Come and taste. Food free 69 different dishes made from Ghana. You'll be amazed to see how they've made cake with yam, and how they've used plantain to do other food, and it's so beautiful. Our traditional caterers, our indigenous caterers, our hotel association, chef association, tour operators. In fact, we invite the stakeholders, both private and public stakeholders. All the agencies are coming together. Students are coming together. Tomorrow to Saturday, from 10 a.m., come to the National Theatre. It's free of charge. Come and sample, come and eat, come and listen to our music, come and listen to conversation. There'll be plenary sessions, or there'll be sessions for discussion inside the main auditorium of the National Theatre, whilst at the foyer there'll be some cultural display. You see fugu being displayed, you see kente loom. Those of you who have not seen how kente is woven, you will come and appreciate kente being woven in the loom, and the song that goes with it. This is folklore, this is culture, this is heritage. So we invite all Ghanaians, and we want to thank Media General. As I mentioned in my preamble, you guys have been super fabulous, fantastic this year in the promotion of our domestic tourism. Not only did you launch, but you also led the talk by giving an immersive domestic tour experience to your viewers or your customers, and we commend you. We commend all the media entities or companies in Ghana. This year's Ghana Heritage Month, this year's Ghana Cultural Heritage has been so phenomenal. But we thank His Excellency the President, who set the tone from going to Zambia, displaying his fugu, and the social media backlash from Zambia, and the Minister of Tourism taking advantage. In fact, we have been super busy from January, when I Should Speed came. From December, as we had our December in GH, the momentum, the energy, the drive for our tourism, and the support that Ghanaians are giving us is overwhelming. We want to thank Ghanaians. Now, everybody is displaying their fugu. Banks, corporate organizations, our foreign partners, our overseas development agencies, European Union, UK High Commission, German Embassy, US Embassy, Brazilian Embassy, every diplomatic partner in Ghana are all showing the love for our culture. That is our fabric, our fugu, our kente, our food. And the media is also. So we can't be grateful enough to thank His Excellency, the President. He is the Chief Marketing Tourism Ambassador for the Republic.
Indeed.
He leads and we follow.
He
So
leads,
we thank His Excellency.
He leads
President
and we
Mahama.
follow. Thank you very much, Abeku Santana, Deputy CEO, Ghana Tourism Authority. Thank you. So yes, there's a lot to see, there's a lot to taste, there's a lot to hear happening between the 13th and 14th of this month at the National Theatre. And you heard him there from 10 a.m. Just go there and enjoy all there is to enjoy. If it's your birthday, we want to help you celebrate the day. But let me start with this one, Mr. Malik Ando. Happy birthday to the one who makes my world spin. You mean everything to me, and I'm so grateful to call you mine. I love you more than words, deeper than actions, and bigger than any moment. Today and every day, I commit to loving you fiercely, supporting your dreams, and laughing with you in the messy moment. You're stuck with me. Here's to forever with you. You're stuck with me. Love you, my love. From your wife, Dr. Mrs. Juliana Akushika Ando, Phoebe, Audrey, Charles, Michelle, the Akwe and Ando families. Happy birthday to you, sir, from your wife and the rest of the family to you. Have a great day. And that's from all your loved ones to you. Yeah, so let's see. Okay, Eunice Nate, CEO of Afinac Events Dansoman. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. Emefa Tamaklo, happy birthday to you of Beacon College. God bless you and empower you, our daughter from Godwin Tamaklo. Okay, I believe Godwin Eduji Tamaklo. Happy birthday to you, Emefa. Ambassador Nancy Sam Korte, President of ECOWAS Tourism Confederation, from all your friends across Ghana. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. Michael Otrebefi, God bless you with long life and good health from Yvonne and all your constituents in New Drabin South. Happy birthday to you, Honorable. Esther, God bless you from Madam Pat. Ahima, I love you so much from your sweet mom, Mrs. Yvette Benson. Happy birthday, young lady. Esther Forson, happy birthday to you. Matron of Apam. Okay, now Yo-Yo, may the good Lord bless you and expand your territory from Kisewa. Happy birthday to you. Madam Akolache, have a glorious day. Clarissa, I believe, Zina and Zainab from House of Sedem. Happy birthday to you. ASP William Afari, many more years of distinguished service from General Constable Kankam Goffred. Happy birthday to you, officer. Obrimpong Buampim Abrakwa. May God's divine protection surround you today and always. From Uncle Joe and Nana, happy birthday to you, young man. And to you, Sandra Kosia Ibrahim. Enjoy your new chapter. Eunice Nate, happy birthday to you, ma'am. Of Calvary Congregation and CEO of Afinac. I think I read that earlier. Clarissa Eunice Abina Sari, Senior Presbyter of Calvary Congregation from Reverend Water. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. Miss T, cheers to greatness. Much love. Happy birthday to you, Miss T. Mr. Ishmael Hagan from Cape Coast. You turned 64 years today, from Engineer Farid Ishmael. Happy birthday to you, sir. Marianne Hammond, have an amazing celebration. Happy birthday to you, Marianne. Elisha Nashida Sowa, from your parents. Happy birthday to you, young lady, in beautiful Conroe. Yes, and happy birthday to all of you celebrating your day. May it be a great one for you. Well, if you're planning your next trip, whether it's for holidays, business, study abroad, or family travel, let EAS Tours take the stress out of your journey. They offer professional flight bookings, travel consultations, visa assistance, and professionalized travel support to ensure everything is handled smoothly from start to finish. So travel with confidence, clarity, and peace of mind by choosing EAS Tours. Call or WhatsApp now 0243 535 778 today to speak to a travel expert. Get expert guidance and start planning your next trip the EAS way. With EAS Tours, you can travel now and pay later in 12 months. No initial deposit, no interest, EAS tours to the whole Wiase. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Beatrice Edu. Of course, I was here with my colleague Roland Walker from us and the rest of the team behind the scenes. We say thank you very much for joining us. Do join us again tomorrow. Have a great day.